explained. Yeah, there's a handful of things that probably need to be explained. First and foremost, we'll talk about the smug smirk, whatever it was that you felt that you observed. And you're certainly entitled to your opinion on that, but I got to let you know what you observed was me biting my tongue. I had plenty that I wanted to say, but I'm pretty calculated about the things that I do. So felt it was best that I meter or measure what I needed to say. As far as the the chuckle or whatever drew your attention, I got to tell you, there are processes, policies, and procedures, and I'm just learning them. I was just elected this past November.
Congratulations.
Thanks. But there are protocols, and walking into a council meeting, and whether it's you or anybody else, and we've had others that have attempted the same, walking into a council meeting and attempting to take control of the meeting and put everything on their terms, that's not the way to go about it. And the chuckle or laugh or whatever you heard from me was really it was a reaction to the fact that whether you knew it or not, the person that you were directing your questions to when you inadvertently thought he was Bob, that is City Prosecutor Mac Anderson. And Mac Anderson was one of the co-authors for our city charter. There are few people in this city that I hold in higher regard than Mac Anderson. And when you are speaking to him in such a belittling fashion, that's one of the places where I draw a line. Our council is not perfect. Nobody on our council will tell you that we're perfect, but we are a team. And there are people on council that align differently than I do politically, but we were all elected just the same. And in most cases, we work together pretty well as a team. There are times that issues come down to a split vote, and it'll go one way or the other, but it doesn't ever change the fact that we all, one and all, have a professional respect and show professional courtesy to one another, and we will almost always insist that those that are addressing council do the same. So again, getting back to that smug smirk, whatever the word was that you felt, it was me not engaging as to say something that was in a knee-jerk reaction. Let's see. As for changing the sequence of events for that particular council meeting, I have to be honest with you, I didn't even know you were back in town. Like I mentioned in my initial conversation with you, or my initial text conversation, I actually wanted to reach out to you when you were here several weeks ago, and was encouraged not to. I don't always follow direction, and so this time I just didn't bother to ask anyone's opinion. Whether this is something I should or should not be doing, I guess remains to be seen. But when you took off for Texas or wherever you went after leaving Ironton, I had no idea whether you were coming back or not. I don't even keep up with it. I knew that you were arrested. I didn't know what the whole situation with that is. I've got too many other things to deal with. So when you walked into the courtroom, I thought, when you walked into the council chambers, I thought, this is probably going to be interesting. And it didn't occur to me that you would perceive that we changed the sequence of the events for our meeting. You would perceive that as some way to manipulate you or things, or keep you at bay. It wasn't that at all. I had a prior family engagement. We had two members that were dialing in remotely. One of those also needed to leave the meeting early. So it didn't matter what the legislation was that was on the docket to be voted on. If there was going to be a vote necessary, it was going to be necessary to make that vote early. If you have bothered to listen to any of the previous council meetings, you'll see that the audience participation section of the meeting has gone on and on. It's been pretty lengthy. And so rather than allowing for audience participation to take an inordinate amount of time and not be able to get to a vote, I requested, I myself, a week prior to this past meeting, that we change the order so that the vote on any legislation that was present could be taken care of before I and one of my fellow council members had to leave the meeting. So I know you'd probably like to believe that was some attempt at lack of transparency, and it was all a result of ChilleDeCastro coming to council. Had nothing to do with it. I've got text messages showing that this is a request that I made, and in fact there was even a reminder about that on Wednesday when the agenda was sent out to everybody. Let's see, not in any particular order. I don't know. I guess at this point, those are the two or three things that I felt needed to be cleared from this past meeting that you clearly weren't made aware of. As for the work that you do in Ironton or any place else for that matter, as I told you, I applaud anybody that's looking to help create and maintain greater accountability and transparency. I've lived the past 30 plus years in a major metropolitan area, so I've seen this type of approach often in Columbus, and it's often met with varying degrees of success. But I have to tell you, whether you've come to realize this yet or not, and whether it's this small town or any other, this approach to roll into town to attempt to drive a narrative by having the first, middle, and last word of anything that you broadcast on your YouTube channel or any other social media, that's not a productive way to get things done, particularly in a small town where some of the, I don't know, I think I saw in one of your videos or heard somebody tell me in one of your videos, you're one of the combatants that you find yourself against happens to be, I don't know, an elected official, a public safety officer, and also a Little League coach, and also maybe a Sunday school teacher. So you got to understand, when you come both feet first at any person in a town of 10,000 people, it's likely that you're attacking not just one person, but 2 or 3 or 4 iterations of that same person. So it feels very personal when somebody from outside of Ironton comes in wearing a superhero cape and making promises that may or may not be able to be kept, all for the sake of justice. There are more productive ways, in my humble opinion. There are more productive ways. I guess what I would suggest first and foremost is if you truly care about Ironton, like you say you do, and I'm not here to say that you do or don't. I'm just stating my opinion. If you truly care, establish residency in Ironton, register to vote, run for office, get on school board, become a policy maker, changer, get involved in that way. I have to tell you, the vehicle that you have it's nothing short of amazing if you have as many followers as you say. And a guy like you that seems to be pretty passionate, clearly has the ability to communicate, maybe find a less divisive way to communicate. Get involved with our county food bank. Get involved with the domestic violence shelter. Hell, that's one of my own personal, not professional, one of my own personal pet projects. I donate money and time to the domestic violence shelter. Get involved in doing something that's productive for the city of Ironton, and you can still look to shine a light where a light needs shown. You can still engage, interact with people that you feel are not holding up their end of the bargain. But when you breeze into town and get half of our town feeling one way and half of our town feeling the next, and then you're gone in a month, and then you're back a month later, and then you're back agitating or helping people agitate themselves. Let me even say that. That's not productive. It's not productive at all. So my advice, if you really truly care about Ironton, is get involved in a real way, not just running around with an iPhone, videoing, putting people back on their heels, and causing people to go at one another. You know, let me ask you a question. I know Greater Los Angeles, or I don't know, but I've heard Greater Los Angeles is where you're from. But do you have an actual town? Do you have a hometown? Do you have some place that you grew up?
Yeah, I did. I grew up in Alaska.
Okay, so well, there aren't any major. I mean, I know Juneau's a large city and Anchorage is a large city, but okay, so you grew up in a town in Alaska. It's likely that you grew up in a small town. So imagine if Chris Perry was running around your hometown with a cell phone and video cameras and getting people all worked up about this, that, or the other, despite what my greater intention is. Wouldn't that have you feeling a certain kind of way? Wouldn't you feel, who's this guy? Who's this guy from Ohio, from Columbus, Ohio, from Ironton, Ohio, shooting his mouth off? And I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just saying how you probably feel, like most people in this town feel. Shooting his mouth off about things that he doesn't really understand, doesn't know. He's getting, secondhand knowledge. He's, reading court documents that, may or may not be fully accurate, whatever the case is. He's running around. He's disrupting shit in my hometown. Wouldn't that have you feeling a certain kind of way? Despite my best intentions, just like you, despite your best intentions, wouldn't you feel a certain kind of way if people that you've known all your life, were having their lives affected? Your small town's mayor, your small town's police chief, city council, clergy, whomever, if I was doing things that had people in your what's the name of your small town? Am I allowed to ask that?
It's the Kenai Peninsula in Alaska. It's pretty much everywhere online. I've been investigated in every way. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like I told you, I don't do all this social media shit. I have Facebook so I can share pictures of my kids and their accomplishments and tell funny jokes. So I'm sorry, whatever I'm sorry. There was the phone was breaking up or something. I couldn't hear what the name of your town was. It's not that your town's not important, but it's not important that I heard it. The bottom line is, if things were getting turned on their ear by some guy, just some guy that says he's here to help, but not really causing any real help to occur, I feel pretty certain you'd feel. I mean, if you've got red blood racing through your veins like I do, you'd feel the way I do about this. Listen, like I said, I lived away from Ironton longer than I've lived in Ironton, but Ironton's my hometown. I love this town. I love the people. I love the good people and I love the bad people. I ran for city council because I want to help affect change. I want to see Ironton not just survive, but thrive. And I've got tools and connections and contact networks of people that can try to help that happen. That's not to say that this town is without fault. Of course, there's no town that is without fault. And like I said, if you've got some method to getting to some sort of corruption that needs to be fixed or addressed, great, have at it. But do it without disrupting everything that's going on.
Not much of a conversation, Chris.
Well, you're right. It's not much of a conversation because I've had weeks and weeks to, and I'll give you the mic. You've had the mic for the past 3 months, but you've been briefing.
I don't need a mic. I don't need a mic. I thought we were gonna have a conversation now.
But we are. I'm almost finished. It's been a monologue. It's absolutely been a monologue. But you're getting this monologue, Chille, because I care about this town. Okay, you claim to care about this town, but I do care about this town, and I care about every person in it. That includes the people that you feel are being disenfranchised. Listen, I was hired to do a job, which, by the way, you said something about working in government to, I don't know, for the money or something. I got to promise you, the $700 I make before taxes, it's not all it's cracked up to be. So if you think that anybody is sitting on city council to get wealthy, that's the furthest thing from it. It's a part-time government job. Everybody else on that council has a full-time paying job. So you need to understand that your approach and how you're handling all this is not as productive as you believe. It's disruptive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Aren't you black?
I'm biracial. Yes, I am.
You know, you pretty much just take all the white supremacists who said the same thing to Martin Luther King Jr. You pretty much repeated what white supremacists said to him, word for word, almost verbatim, almost exactly. You know, I'm a bit of a historian, if you didn't know. The way I'm known is because I taught history and constitutional law on TikTok for 3 months. Before I was banned from being called a racist because the some of the black people on there were jealous that I was leading black people. So, but, you know, the things you're saying, man, I made a list here. It's ridiculous. I mean, Chris, nothing changes with easy. You know, someone put on top of their Instagram one time, it said, you know, it doesn't have to be violent, but there has to be a revolution. And I said to him, give me a revolution throughout the history of time that wasn't violent. Just list one. Go ahead, I'll wait. Of course he couldn't, because it's just a stupid thing to say. You know, I mean, it's just the things you're saying, like, and then, you know, you start off with telling me how you're on a city council team and we're a team. No, dude, no. You're here to serve the people. That's your team. Your team.
I was hired by the city of Ironton. You're right. You're absolutely right.
You were not hired to be on a city council team of people who are status quo. It's just like it just makes my face cringe up. So it's like,
well, I know, and I know you'd like to believe that it's status quo, but I don't think you've done enough.
No, it's very status quo. It's one of the most status quo places in the country. I travel the country. This isn't my first stop.
Yeah, I understand this. I understand this.
The reason why I stopped here, though, is because it's the most corrupt, the most status quo. It's the most stuck in the mud of any place I've ever been. And I've been all over the country. And I am what I am, dude. So it's like, am I worried about the order of events? I mean, come on. It's like, did I think you did it for because I was there? I don't know. Who cares? It's all water.
Oh, no. That. Hang on. You've got to take ownership on that one, my friend. That was 3/4 of what you were complaining about.
Well, you guys decided on a motion before.
No. You started out with the fact that we changed the sequence of events because we knew you were going to be there, and I was clearing the air for you.
Forget about that, Chris.
But how can I forget about that? That was the entire linchpin of the video that you put out.
I don't know what you're saying, but I do know this, Chris. You guys decided on a motion before the people could speak on it. So it doesn't matter.
People had to. Okay, but see, if you've been here the week before, the people could have spoken on it then. I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand the protocol. These things don't just come to city council and we vote on it that moment. Okay, they are motions that have to be brought, and that was being read into from the minutes from the meeting before. So anybody that wanted to discuss it could have discussed it at that meeting as well. I understand you weren't here, but the bottom line is this whole situation occurred, and let's be real. Whether you spoke on it or not, let's be real. Whether you spoke on it before we voted or not, since you believe that we are the most because you believe that we are the most status quo and the we are the most status quo and corrupt city that you've seen in the country. Okay, fine. I don't believe that.
All of the United States of America, it's one of the worst places I've ever seen as far as police.
But that being the case, do you believe? And let's just say hypothetically you are correct. Do you believe that anything you said was going to change our vote?
I think that Chris, come on, man. Am I in a deposition here? Is that what we're doing? A depo? You an attorney? Because it feels like a deposition. I've been in a lot of them. So I mean, I'm just asking the question. I want to actually have a conversation with you. But as long as when you're done, counselor, let me know when you want to have a conversation with me.
I just asked you a question.
Two guys having a conversation. I feel like I'm being examined here. Up to you, dude. I mean, I'll answer.
I'm asking the question. Okay. Well, answer the question. Do you believe anything that you said was going to change our vote?
Nope.
Okay. Then what would it matter when we put the items up for vote?
I wanted to show the people that it didn't matter what they did or said, that the city council needs to be changed out. Your team members need to go. They need to open fire. They need to be replaced with new people who actually give a shit about the people, that realize that raising the tow fee is going to get more people's cars impounded. More people are going to get their cars auctioned. People who give a shit about that. The obtuse attitude of the entire city council is just disgusting, and it's irreprehensible, and it has to change. And what I was there to do was to show the people that it didn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter what the people say. This group of people is going to do what they want because they're on their own team, and you solidified that a few moments ago. And so that's what I was there to do, and I did exactly that. I showed them that they didn't care about the people. They care about their team and their vote and what they're going to do. And that's exactly
their team and their vote.
Now,
their team and their vote.
Do you want to quit being adversaries and have a talk like a couple guys, or do you want to go at each other? I'm good at fighting, brother. I'd rather have a conversation.
Go right ahead.
I just want to talk to you, dude. I
want to talk.
No, I don't want the floor. This isn't a monologue for me. I want to have a conversation. Okay.
All right.
So what I want to know is, do you want to change things? Because if you didn't know, Chris, let me advise you, sir. Your city, your town, your county is one of the worst in the country. I mean, Arizona's pretty bad. New Jersey's pretty bad. Louisiana's pretty bad. But Ironton, Ohio is way up there as far as horrifically bad police state, prison state. And it's like, and I already addressed this a second ago, but I take notes, man. I sit here and took notes for a while, and then I listen and listen and listen. I mean, I think I've been talking for 25 minutes now, and I heard everything you said, and it's like, Chris, people who give me money, I don't listen to what they tell me to do. People who give money to me out of their wallet. Give me money to keep doing what I'm doing. I tell them up front, I will not take any of your advice. I will not listen to anything you say. I will not in any way, shape, or form be advised or changed or altered by you. I say up front, you give me $500, that's great. I'm not going to do a damn thing for you. You get no kickbacks from me. You get no favors. You get no input in my thoughts. I'm more than willing to have roundtables with teams of people, but I'm not going to be detoured from the change that has to happen. I mean, you literally sounded like a white supremacist, and you're black, which is just God bless you, sir. I mean, I'm not trying to be.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
You said I agree with your message, but I don't like your methods. Go right back to Alabama. Go right back to Birmingham. You know, you're right there in 1952. You're right there. You're right in the thick of it. You know, I mean, black people want freedom, and I really agree that you guys need freedom, but I don't agree with your methods of causing this social disruption. I mean, things have changed so much. And Chris, you've never met anybody like me. You've never ever met anybody like me. I'm the only person. No, I'll tell you why. Not because
I can promise you the same.
Not because I'm special. Not because I'm some perfect person or ordained by God or any of those things. Because it's just the timing of what's happened. It's just the timing. It has nothing to do with me as a human being. It has to do with the right time, right place, right person, right knowledge, and the camera. We're finally at a place, we're at a tipping point in history where we can actually finally make the Bill of Rights become a reality, because there's always going to be transparency now. It's never been a possibility before. And what has the government done in response to that? Ban cameras from courtrooms, ban cameras from federal buildings, ban cameras from commerce centers. Why? Because then there's no transparency. Most of the court cases happening today, people are being cheated. They're being railroaded. Eugene Aldridge, who charged a felony 5 years ago, the judge didn't give him a jury trial. He never told him he needed a jury trial. They railroaded him right through. I've heard dozens of cases where the due process of law was skirted by judges because there's no camera on the judge. And that's the problem. As long as we continue down this road, nothing will change. And don't tell me nothing's changed. Jonathan Spiljeric's resigned, and I got another cop on the grid resigning now. So you tell me nothing's changed? I've been here a month. And it's just absolutely ridiculous that you said we have a team. Your team is America. Your team is the Constitution. Your team is your oath to office. Your team is not a bunch of other people sitting on the council with you. No offense, but don't take offense to it. Fuck them. And fuck you for saying it. No offense. Yeah. It's not your team, Chris. Your team is America. You are an American, and you're a black American, sir. Yeah. I don't mean fuck you in the real way. I mean fuck your ideas. I'm an abrasive guy. So you say shit to me that's just ridiculously silly, you know. And then you let me finish. And then you said to me you're gonna give me these suggestions. I should go run for student council, maybe. I'm not running for student council. I'm running for governor. This isn't the only town I'm going to. I'm going to every town in Ohio. And I'm going to cause such a stir. I'm going to show the world that transparency is the only way to get justice. There's no other way in our country to get justice. The reason why black people have been cheated since 1954, even after, it wasn't desegregated. There was no desegregation until 1964. There's a little bit of desegregation, but mostly blacks are second-class citizens throughout our country and remained being second-class citizens all the way until the 80s, where Ronald Reagan created a full-profit prison system, and then turn around, squat, cough comes directly from the war on drugs from Nixon. So, you get demoralized, dehumanized, sexually assaulted just for being arrested. And you can be arrested for anything now. And it used to be a light pat down, a Terry stop. They didn't used to put you in handcuffs behind your back. But police have created policies around unelected people who are appointed for life on the personnel of the Supreme Court, which is a dog shit organization. They get that sun shines on a dog's ass at least once in a while. They get it right once a blue moon. And so we take those cases and we show them, we shine them high, and we say we do have a First Amendment right, we do have a Fourth Amendment right, we do have a Fifth Amendment and an Eighth Amendment right. But even the Eighth Amendment's been bastardized. It's not cruel and unusual punishment unless you're sentenced to cruel and unusual punishment. A government official acting in their official capacity can abuse you, but that's not cruel and unusual punishment because you weren't sentenced by a judge. It's all been bastardized, Chris, all of it. So, the things you're saying to me, I don't know if you're going to really be an ally to me, man. I don't know if you're really going to be an ally for the people. I don't know where your loyalties truly lie, Chris. And if that's the case, we'll continue down the road of being adversaries. I'm very direct. I'm very honest, Chris. I'm very honest. Just so you know, this is something you should probably put in your hat and keep it. I'll never break my word. I told you, if I have your number, I won't share it with anybody. I'll never give it to anybody else. I won't spam your phone text. I won't blow up your phone 500 times, ever.
I told you I wouldn't. I never will. Never. You know, so it's like, what team are you on? Where do you stand? I mean, what kind of human being are you? You're watching these people. You're watching what's happening there, and you're making excuses as to why it's okay. You even went as far as to tell me that we're a team and we're on a team. I mean, think about what you said. I'll let you hear the recording of yourself. You can listen to it back, and then you tell me what you think.
I'm recording it. I know what I said.
You listen back to the recording. Listen back to what you said to me.
I don't need to listen back to it. I know exactly what I said.
It's pathetic, Chris. You take an oath to the Constitution. That is your team. You're on my team. I'm on your team. We're Americans. I'm Colombian. You're black. We are Americans, dude, and that's the team we're on. And there's never, the reason why I say there's never been anybody like me is because I'm at just the right tipping point, right time. That's why all these other auditors are following what I'm doing, because they realize that for the first time ever, as long as you keep your cool, you don't scream, you don't curse, you don't act like an idiot like these ex-cons and ex-felons and all these people who want to fight back to the government, but they don't really understand the power of the camera. And they're morons. They act like idiots. They act like they're sovereign citizens. They're not for rule of law. And that's the problem with these people who are on YouTube. That's why people say, oh, you're a YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber, dude. I don't give a shit about social media. I don't care about money I make from YouTube, because I don't need YouTube money. I don't make money from YouTube. I make money because I created products as an entrepreneur to keep myself afloat as I continue down the road for justice, truth, and transparency. I mean,
hang on. I need a moment of clarity here. You just said that you don't make money from YouTube, correct?
No, I don't. The guys with big channels who have 100,000, 300,000 subscribers, they make money from YouTube. I make $3,000 a month from YouTube, and I just started making $3,000 a month this last month. Before that, it was $1,500, $1,800, $1,400, $1,200.
But I have to say,
$300, $200.
Okay, I have to say, $3,000 a month, that's making money.
I'm not allowed to make a living, Chris? You're going to judge me for making a living?
Absolutely not. I've already applied.
What are you talking about? What do you do for a living? What's your job?
I'm in sales.
Okay, so you sell things.
No. Hey, wait. Hang on.
This is a conversation.
You just said that you don't break your word, you don't lie. But then you followed up by saying you don't make money on YouTube. Listen, I applauded you. I said, you've got a great vehicle. Why I'm not getting rich, Chris. There's no tens of thousands of dollars coming from my account.
Then that's a different statement. If I make a middle class income, I'll be super stoked, dude. Someday I can make enough money to get my teeth fixed, I would love it, right? I would love to fix my own.
But I have to tell you, $3,000. I have to tell you, $3,000 a month. That's just about the median income for anybody in the United States, making $36,000 a year. Okay, so you do make money on YouTube.
Hope I make 36. Well, the problem with that, Chris, though, is I take my money and I spend it on people who help me. I give away every dime. I pay everybody who works with me. No matter how much it is, something 150, 200, 500. I pay those people. I pay tons of people. That's all I do. I take the money, I make it, I spend it immediately on people who help me, because this system has to be changed. And if you don't agree, then you're status quo, Chris. You're the same as everybody else. You're the status quo system because you got a nice job on the city council. You got a sales job. You got your kids. You're happy. You got your house or wherever you live, and everything's great for Chris. But meanwhile, for everybody else, Chris, it's not that great.
Yeah, let me explain.
Right. Now you have to explain yourself to me. I'm absolutely going to explain something to you, because you're living in a fallacy. You are. Okay, so one of the guys in your video, I think he was quoted as saying something about they push the poor people down and keep them poor. I got to let you know, I grew up in the projects. Okay, I know what it's like to sit in line waiting for government cheese. I know what it's like. Me too, buddy. How old are you, Chris? How old are you?
But hang on, wait.
How old are you?
I'm 53.
Oh, you're older than me. I didn't think you were. I thought you were younger than me.
Nope. And so when somebody comes at me and attempts to say, "Oh, that,"
I'm talking to you, dude. I'm not coming at you.
All right. So when somebody has a discussion with me and says, "You've got this sales job and this great city government job, and your kids,"
well, now you know how it feels. You know how it feels to be told, "Oh, you're doing good. You're making money. Things are great for you." Right?
I never said that. Is that what
that's
I said?
what people tell me all the time. You said,
okay, but I'm not.
You're Chris. I agree.
Okay.
Chris.
What you said was you don't make money off of YouTube, and I clarified that fact that you were quoted as saying you made $3,000 last month on YouTube. So $3,000, that would go a long way in a lot of people's lives. The point though, is for you to imply
it's always about me.
That means, well, clearly it is all about you, but that's neither here nor there.
No, just back up your statement. We're having a conversation. Don't say shit like that and not back it up.
Well, I'll get to that.
It's about me. It's about me.
I'll get to that in a moment. I wasn't finished with my original statement. So when somebody says to me, you've got all these great things going on in your life, and you couldn't possibly identify. You don't have any idea. You sound like a white supremacist, and this and that and the other.
No, you repeated white supremacy words. You didn't sound like them. You repeated them.
The bottom line is that's not only hilarious. It actually angers me because but listen. The reason it angers me is because you're making blanket statements. You're making stereotypical statements about somebody.
Stereotypical? You sounded like someone who said, I agree with your message, but I don't agree with your message. So you said, I agree that change needs to happen, but I don't like how you do it, and you're too divisive, and you came into our town, and then you just said a second ago, it's about me. That's why I left being a producer making $10,000 a month, and I make $3,000 a month. Yeah. It's all about me. I mean, Chris, do you think this system works? Can we just get to the nuts and bolts of an actual conversation? Do you think this system is good? You think this police state, prison state, death state, you think people should go to a dungeon? You think people should be pulled over from their car for turning on a blinker, and there's no victim of any crime, and they should be dragged off to a dungeon? They should have to submit their will, give total dominion to another human being who's a fucking Neanderthal, and they should be dragged off to a dungeon. You think that's appropriate? Are you for this system? Because if you are, Chris, then we really probably don't have much to talk about. If you want to change the system, I'm down with you. Just like I told Pam Wagner the other day. Pam wanted to have a heart-to-heart. I said, only if you want to change the system. If you don't want to change the system of oppression, then I don't really have much to say to you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let me clarify.
Let me
clarify. You and I are having a conversation. You and I. I don't speak for the mayor. I don't speak for the police chief. I don't speak for the fire chief. I don't speak for the finance director. I don't speak for anybody on city council, for that matter. I am a citizen who was hired by the citizens of Ironton to work on city council, to help make positive changes for our city. That's the extent of what.
Think things are going good, Chris? You think things are going good?
Since I've been on city council, I think things are going okay, and I think we've got some other things on the horizon.
What's going good? The building a new jail is a good thing. You want a new jail, Chris? Is that what you want?
Do I want to see a new jail in Ironton, Ohio? Yeah. Absolutely. Do I want to see a new jail? Do I want? So you believe that the current jail should stand?
No, not taking people to jail. Jail should come to an end. The idea someone has to go to a dungeon is ridiculous, Chris. It's not a jail from Mayberry. We're not going to a jail where you just walk up there. Come on in here. Come with me. You're going to go to this place, and we're going to straighten you out because you guys are drunk and fist fighting. We had to just restrain you from fist fighting the other guy. So we're taking you to this place. No, dude, it's not that. It's absolute, total dominion, supremacy, oppression immediately upon your interaction with the police officer. And you're okay with that.
All right, let me say this.
Are you okay with that? I'm asking you. Are you okay with it? You think
am I okay with what?
Dude, why are you so cagey? Why can't you just be a regular person?
I absolutely do want to see Ironton have a new jail in Ironton city limits. Yes.
What do you get out of that?
What do I get out of it?
Sure.
Not a thing. I don't get a thing.
All right.
See, and I'm really glad you made that statement because that tells me
I didn't make a statement. I asked a question.
Okay. Well, all right.
What do you get out of it?
I'm glad you used the phrase that you used, and I answered it, and I told you I don't get anything from it. But the fact that you think everything is about Whiffam, not everything in this world is about Whiffam. Maybe in your world it is, but not in mine.
I'm not sure. I don't know what you meant about Whiffam.
Whiffam is what's in it for me.
Oh, is that what it is? Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. That's a great acronym. What's in it for me? Okay, cool. But then again, you said
you asked what I get. You asked what I get out of putting the jail in Ironton. I personally don't get anything from it. I'm not employed by the county. I wouldn't be employed by the jail. With any luck, I wouldn't find myself in the jail. But do I believe that Ironton should have a new jail? Absolutely, 100%. I absolutely believe that. But let me get back to my thing. You
clearly it's about me. Clearly it's about me.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. You started out when I passed the mic to you, telling me that this is that it's supposed to be a dialogue, not a monologue, conversation. Whatever phraseology you used. I didn't sign up for. I'm not asking for, nor do I want your socio-political lectures. I'm not sitting in a YouTube classroom or a TikTok classroom. Listen, do I think you're a smart guy? I absolutely think you're a smart guy. I think you're charismatic. I think you know how to get things done. I'm going to say it again, and I said this in the very beginning. Find better and more productive ways to make change. Use your powers for good. And I know you believe. Listen, I know you believe that you're using
dog shit. You could take
you know why it's dog shit? You know why it's dog shit? What do you let me tell you why you think it's dog shit.
Now we're gonna devolve into this. I'll let you talk.
Let me tell you talk over me. Go ahead. Let me tell you why you think it's dog shit. For the same reason that that's great. For the same reason that when you looked at me, you thought I was looking at you smugly. You know why? Because I can see through you. I believe that you are very complex, but I know people like you. I've lived in major cities, and
you don't know anybody like me. You've never met anybody like me ever. You didn't figure me out in 15 seconds, Chris. I don't even figure myself out. My mom doesn't figure me out. And you see right through me, and that's
I know people like you. Yeah.
This is a way to build a bridge, Chris.
Listen.
I mean, you called me to build a bridge, didn't you? Didn't you call me to try to find some common ground where we could work together in some positive way? And this is how you're going to do it? I'm not in your YouTube classroom or your TikTok classroom that you said to me trying to insult me. I'm not insulted. Because Gen Z will change the world. Because you're status quo, brother. You're Gen X. You're the end of boomers or the early Gen X. So, I mean, it is what it is, dude. We're gonna sit here and talk over each other like idiots. I mean, we can't even have a conversation. We can't have a back and forth. You have to dominate.
When I reached out to you,
I'll let you dominate it, brother. I'll let you dominate me.
Thank you. Go ahead, perfect. When I reached out to you, I told you I wanted to clear the air.
Clear the air? That's
what I said. Yeah.
You want to build a new jail, Chris.
Okay.
You want a new jail for people to go to jail. Where it's a dungeon. Okay. It's not a counseling session. It's not a way to therapy. It's not a way. Domestic violence. Guy beats his wife. Okay, let's say he beats his wife and take him to jail. Okay, so what's going to happen in society? He's going to go to jail. What happens to her? She sits at home. Then she sits there afraid and alone and scared. And he goes to jail. He gets madder and madder and madder. He gets treated like shit. Don't look at me. Look at the ground. Turn around, squawk, cough. And then when he gets out of jail, let's say that they get divorced or they break up or whatever. He beats the next woman. You didn't treat him with any kind of modicum of respect or dignity as a human being, or hey, why are you beating on women? There was no real therapy there. You just put him in a dungeon, and you're for more dungeons. And that's what you told me. Right. Meanwhile, you don't want to do a new way. This way's working out so good. We have more people in prison in the Nazi land here than any other country in the world by far. Even more than China, 2 billion people.
I have no problem. And again, I applaud you. I think that there should be therapeutic aspects to people's time spent in incarceration. In fact, if you've done any level of research, I worked at a minimum security prison just 25 minutes up the street or up the road.
As a guard?
No.
As what?
My title was behavior specialist.
Okay. So you worked as a counselor for people?
That's right.
Okay.
So for you to make a blanket statement that I'm not for therapy, that I'm just for throwing people.
I didn't make a blanket statement. I asked you a question, Chris. Listen, I said to you, I want to have a conversation with you like a dude. You met my alter ego, the guy who has to challenge people. I wanted to have a conversation with you, dude. And pretty much it's been a lecture and you judging me the entire time. And I'm trying to get to a place where we can have a conversation.
And it's also been a history and political science lecture from you.
It's not working out, Chris. It's not working out. Building new dungeons isn't working out. It's not working out for the people. Okay. It's dog shit here. 2.5 million people in dungeons. Meanwhile, China has 1.6 million. Why do we have?
I'm not talking about 2.5 million people. I'm talking about 10,000 people that live in Iron Chest.
No, dude. It starts with one person in a tiny 1,400 person town, and then it goes to a 2,000 person town, and a 3,000 person town. As long as you continue to perpetuate putting people in dungeons, Chris, you're status quo, dude.
Okay,
and you should be better than that. You should be better than that. I expect more from you.
Well, you don't know me well enough to expect more from me. You really don't. I mean, you can expect more from your fellow man, and I'll grant you that.
You swear an oath to the Constitution. You have to swear an oath to take that job. Don't you have isn't there an oath on office? Is it on record? Well, then you swore an oath to the Constitution. Well, locking people in dungeons when the founding principle of our country is liberty is wrong. It's wrong. It's just wrong.
We're clearly at an impasse. We're going to have to agree to disagree because
on the dungeon system.
The dungeon system, sure. Yeah.
You think it's good, dude? I'm just talking to you like a man. You don't got to be a counsel. I don't have to air this conversation. We don't have to be a public thing here, man. We could just have a conversation. We could just be honest with each other. I don't give a shit about YouTube and views and all that shit. I care about real change.
Okay, and that's great.
Then let's get rid of the dungeon. Let's talk about that. How do we move forward with that?
Yeah. Well,
how do we assist?
You view it as a dungeon. I don't view it as a dungeon. I view it.
Have you been there? Have you been there yourself?
To the Lawrence County Jail? Yeah, I have.
As an occupant, have you been put into torture cuffs and gone through the turnaround squad cop? Have you had to show your asshole to a stranger, bend over and spread your cheeks?
Have not.
Okay, so then you don't know what it feels like to be demoralized and dehumanized. God bless you, sir. I'm glad it didn't happen to you. And you're black, too, which is amazing that you got through that. 1 out of 3 men has to face that who's black.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm really glad it didn't happen to you, buddy. Really.
Yeah, trust me, I know this.
But you know what? I wish it had at least once because then you would feel the same way.
Oh, it has.
You've had to turn around, squat, cough, turn around, spread your butt cheeks, and throw your asshole?
Listen, it has not in that fashion. When you're staring down the barrel, of a 38 pointed at your chest because you do not look like the type of person that should be driving a luxury SUV in a certain town. Yeah, I've been there. So don't at all proclaim to come at me with some moral superiority. Here's the bottom line: you have your opinions. Yeah. Have you personally, you yourself, looked down the barrel of a 38 pointed at your chest because you did not look like you should be driving a luxury SUV in a very affluent town? Have you personally had that happen?
I guess you really haven't done any research on me, dude. That's okay. I haven't really on you either.
So no, I haven't.
I've had it worse. I've been known operated twice.
Oh, okay.
With this whole SWAT team, naked in my bed with AR-15s with laser scopes.
Okay.
So yeah, I know how it feels.
Then if you know that's how it feels, then why would you bother to come at me about some other thing? Listen, there's an expression.
We're talking about the dungeon system. It's horrible. You turn around, squat, cough, show me your asshole. It's horrible. Horrible, Chris. If you haven't really experienced it, you don't know what it's like. And then after that, they throw you in some cold cell and they say, don't look at me, look down at the ground. We're not on the same level. You can't look at me. They demoralize you, dehumanize you. And that doesn't happen just once. It happens the entire time you're there.
Once again.
As I told you. Can we talk about the real issue? Can we just get to a conversation? I'm talking about the system that you're voting for.
And I've already told you, you have your opinion and I have mine. And I believe
I have my experience, and you don't have the same experience.
And you don't have the same experience I have. I mean, my gosh, that goes for every human being on this planet.
No, but you're in charge of voting for the jail or not, Chris. That's why I'm talking to you about it. You're the guy voting.
Nope. See, there you go. Bad research once again.
There's not bad research. Correct me.
Bad research once again. I hate to break this to you. Right. City Council, Ironton City Council has zip to do with our county, Lawrence County Jail. You want to have a conversation? Maybe they don't have the county commissioner.
They don't have anything. That's great. So the county commissioners have to do with that? Is that what it is about?
Lawrence County Jail, not the Ironton City Jail. There is no Ironton City Jail.
Right.
The Lawrence County Jail that's currently housed in Ironton has nothing to do with Ironton City Council, Ironton's mayor, Ironton's police chief.
Who votes on it?
County jail. Once again, bad research.
I didn't do any research, Chris. I'm asking you.
Clearly, you didn't do any research. That's my.
You win, point. Chris. You've beaten me. Now that you've beaten me, can we get past that? You win, dude. So now tell me this.
Absolutely not. We're absolutely
the
not
county commissioners.
Because here's the bottom line. I'm not taking the bait. I'm not speaking for the mayor, the police chief, the county commissioners, the city council, the finance director. I'm not speaking for anybody. You're speaking to a citizen who happened to get hired to work for the city of Ironton. The police department has nothing to do with the county jail. The county jail that is currently housed in Ironton. Yes, I want to see the new jail still housed in Ironton.
Okay, then I'm asking you for education then. I'm asking you to teach me something. You clearly have more knowledge than I do. I'm ready to learn. So who votes on that Lawrence County jail?
The citizens of Lawrence County. Every citizen in Lawrence County. Not 10,000 people in Ironton, not just only 10,000 people in Ironton. The entire population of Lawrence County will vote on the jail.
Which includes which cities? Soto County? It includes Soto? What is it? Soto is a town?
Soto County is a different county. Every city, every township in Lawrence County.
Okay, so which ones are those? I don't know. You probably know.
Well, I can give you a good guesstimate on it. You've got
sure. And by the way, I don't care if you're a little bit wrong. You just give me the basic information that you think is okay. I'm not going to get
what I would recommend if you're asking for some help on this. Look up cities and population of Lawrence County, Ohio. That's going to give you all the information you need. This is a county jail, not a city jail.
Okay, cool. Thanks for telling me, man. I don't know which cities are in Lawrence County, but I can look it up if you don't know.
No, I mean, I told you Proctorville, South Point, Chesapeake, Cold Grove, Ironton, Pedro, Rock Hill, Hanging Rock. I don't know. There's probably some other small towns that I'm missing.
Okay.
Sims Valley. So yeah, I mean, there's plenty. The bottom line is, you've come at this with not all the right information. Just the very same reason that I scoffed. That's the word you used. Scoffed. That's the reason that I scoffed when you were addressing Mac Anderson as Bob, because you came into it with not the right level of information. So if you're here to be a social avenger, if you're here to help people get the things done that they need to get done, then maybe, Mr. DeCastro, you should do a little more research and understand what you're trying to get done. Not just coming at me with some bullet pointed.
The fifth time I'm coming at you. I told you 20 times.
It's the way I speak. It's the way I speak.
I'm not coming at you with anything.
Okay.
I'm just trying to talk to you.
It's literally just trying to have conversation. It's the way I speak. It's the same way that I would talk to my kids. It's the same way I would talk to someone on council coming at me. It's just the way I speak. It's my own personal jargon. All right, so don't be offended. Anyway, the bottom line is there are many things that I don't think you are as aware of as you should be, like going on your YouTube channel and claiming that we changed the entire sequence of events because we knew you were coming. You were wrong. Well, then,
can I say something? Can I say something?
Yes.
Then I'll retract it.
Okay.
No problem.
And if that's the case, I appreciate that, because
sure, of course, I'll go online. I got to go on YouTube in about 5 minutes, and I'll tell them. I actually talked to Chris. He explained to me that the reason why they changed the order, it was done in advance. I didn't know that, and they changed the order because someone had to leave early. Yeah, dude, I'm a reasonable person. I'm not going to be simple and agreeable.
Listen, the reason I reached out to you, okay, and I told you, I actually wanted to do this several weeks ago. The reason I reached out to you is because I can be a reasonable person as well. But just because you and I have differences of opinion does not make one of us right and one of us wrong. Maybe each of us are a little right and a little wrong. The bottom line is
no. We're going to disagree on that. You're wrong. The dungeon system doesn't work. It's not getting people better. It's making our country worse. It's now dusty, gray, dirty cities because we've criminalized drugs.
Okay, and see that is terrible. That is your flawed opinion. Because here's what we can do.
But you've never been in a dungeon.
But no, you have no idea.
Let me finish. I've never been in a dungeon.
I'm going to tell you when my time working at Star Community Justice. Whenever you decide that you want to have some time that we can sit down person to person, I'll bring you 3 people that went, or more, 3 people though that went through that program who are currently living in Ironton, and one of them I saw at the gas station just a few months ago and said that program saved my life. He was incarcerated. He had restricted movement. He was not allowed to go here and there. He could not just go home at night and come back and report the next day. No, this person was incarcerated for 6 months, going through a program. It was prison for all intents and purposes. And he said the program saved his life. So your opinion is just that. It's an opinion. There are plenty of people that have been in prison, in real prison, that will state once they've been released, if I hadn't gone to prison, I would be dead. I would have been shot to death. I would have died of an overdose. I would have.
What are you talking about, dude? It's such garbage you're saying. I mean, we have people.
Are you kidding me? So
no,
you're telling me.
I heard
wait,
you.
No. Hang on. You're telling me the conversation.
I heard what you said. Now, let me say something to you. We are the politest people on earth. We will say no, please, sir. No, please, sir, as the cop is beating us. Okay? Let me say something. We're the most adaptable species there is on earth. Some people will adapt to things that are horrifically hellish bad, and they'll become better, and they just think that that's the reason why they became better. It's not.
You're telling me. So you're telling me the person that I spoke to, not just 3 months ago, that says that program saved his life. You're telling me that guy's worth, that guy's value is nothing?
Don't. I never said anything like that, Chris.
You're telling me I'm wrong. You're telling me it's bullshit.
Yeah, he was planted in a box, and he can't see out of the box of which he was planted in. Of course, he has no idea what it's like to be treated with kindness and grace and be educated to become a better person. He was taught a dungeon system, and he said, "Fuck, I don't want to have to deal with this again. So I'm better because of it." But he was planted in a box, Chris, just like you are.
You're
just
wrong.
Like you believe
you're
the dungeon
wrong.
system is good.
You are wrong.
The dungeon system's good, Chris. Just say it out loud. Just say it. The dungeon system's great. You love it. You love watching black
You
people
are
in the
wrong.
dungeon. You love the rape inside of it. How many other
wrong.
places in the world do they get raped when they go to corrections? How many other places is that like? We're the worst country in the world as far as that.
Mexico.
Oh, compare us to China too. How about North Korea? We're the same, right? Same system, right? We're land of the free, home of the brave, just like North Korea.
You asked the question and I answered it.
No, you didn't, dude. You ducked everything, Chris.
You asked me where someone could be incarcerated. You asked me where someone could be incarcerated. Did you not?
Your ideas are old and dumb, and I think that you're
old and dumb. Okay.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to believe that a dungeon system is going to make someone a better person. It's horrifically bad. And then you can grab someone and go, "Oh, look, he said it made him better." No, he didn't. He didn't know kindness and love and education. He was taught a dungeon. If he didn't do better, he would be ruined forever. And so
you're wrong.
You know what? It made me better.
You're wrong. You are wrong. And I'm telling you, you are 100% wrong. Because you know what I did at my job? I gave classes. It was not just stand here for 6 months and then I'm going to let you go and you never want to come back and do this. Parenthood classes on how to avoid falling down the pitfall or falling into pitfalls of drug-seeking behavior. Continuing a type of behavior that led you to this place. Yes, that was my job. So I wasn't a guard. I didn't handcuff someone to a radiator and say, "Good luck, hope you don't die." I understand that's what you would like. That's the fallacy that you would like to put forward. But you've got to understand it's insane that you say things like that. I can't stand putting people into handcuffs, torture cuffs. I would never endorse anything like that. It's just preposterous that you say things like that to me. I'm completely against violence. Completely. The reason I act like a tough guy with cops is because they've been bullies for decades. If you didn't know that, check your own heritage. Black codes were created to instill black. You know what I love? Oh my God! I tell you what. I probably know more about Black history than you do. That is my favorite thing. Oh my God! White supremacy. This is my favorite thing. When what's your favorite? Somebody that's not black. That you say white supremacy. I love when somebody that's not black tells me how to be black. Oh my God, that is my favorite thing. How to be black? You endorse an oppressive system based on where do cuffs come from? Where do slave cuffs come from? There's a big hint there. Where do slave cuffs come from? Where do they come from? And you think it's okay to put people in torture cuffs and take them to a dungeon? Oh my God! I love when non-black people tell me how to be black. That's the best. No, I don't. You also wait. I have a question for you. I got a question for you. Do you also tell women how to be women? Yeah, I'm a misogynist. I hate women too, right? Anything else? I don't know. I'm just asking. And I'm racist too, right, Chris? I'm asking. Anything else is discreditable? And I shouldn't come into town and cause a stir. I should just do it the nice way. I should try to work with the student, with the council that all believes in getting a new jail is a good thing for the people of the city, the people of the county. They're all for it. You're going to vote for it, but I should do it your way. It's ridiculous, dude. Okay, listen. You're entitled to your opinion, but you've probably thrown out 36 fallacies that Yeah, absolutely.
Prison works. Prison's good for them. It helps them so much going to the prison system. You just said it. 3 people told you how good the prison works for them. So good. So good.
Oh, but their value's nothing, right? So you're saying because it wasn't good for 100 people, the 3 people that it helped, to hell with them, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, to hell with the system, Chris. The hell with the system.
No. The system helped. The system helped these 3 people.
Oh, stop. It did not help these 3 people. It helped 3 people who adapted to the surroundings of being put in dungeon, and they realized they never want to be put in a dungeon again. It's preposterous.
All right. Listen. I understand that you get off on.
I get off. On doing this. I love this
dungeon. This whole dungeon thing. This whole dungeon thing that you've got going on. Listen, that is.
Well, you've never been a member. You've never been a participant. So what do you know? You've never had anybody look up your asshole, have you? How many times have you looked up your balls? How many times do you have to spread your nutsack? How many times that happened to you? Me, 20. How many times you? I'm disagreeable. Cops don't like disagreeable people. Before the camera phone, I was arrested dozens of times, probably more than 2 dozen. Arrested, then later not charged. Meanwhile, they got to look up my asshole and strip search me, make me spread my nutsack. Did that happen to you? I guess we don't have the same experience. You got pointed a gun at you one time, Chris? I've had a gun pointed at me by the pigs dozens of times.
Okay.
Dozens.
All right.
Dozens. And you respect cops. You like cops. You think they're your friends.
I
don't even know.
I think there's plenty of room for improvement, just like I think there's room for improvement in all facets of our life. But I'm not here. I'm not here to take the bait, as I've already told you.
Take the bait?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, man? I'm just trying to clear the air. You called me to lecture me and tell me to change my ways. Shove that idea up your nose. I'm not changing anything. I'm going to get worse. I'm going to get rougher, tougher, meaner, longer, harder. I'm not going to, in any way, shape, or form, change anything about myself. I'm going to get worse. I'm not going to accept the status quo system. I'm not going to accept status quo people. I'll go after anybody who's for the status quo, and I'll try to get them voted out. Okay. And believe me, you don't even know my power yet. I've only just begun. You'll see. I'm not going to accept this, Chris. And your attitude is dog shit. You should not accept the prison system. I'm just being honest with you, dude. At least I'm genuine. I don't hold back. I say exactly what I think when I think it. I'm not afraid of saying what I think. Are you?
No, I'm not.
You just lectured me and told me how I should change. You don't like my. You think there should be change, but you don't agree with my method.
I don't agree with your method. I don't agree with your method.
That's what white
I don't agree with your methods for my hometown. I told you.
Your hometown, but this isn't your hometown. It's America, Jack. You might want to figure it out. You said you pledged allegiance to your team on the city council.
I sure did.
It's dog shit, dude. Dog shit.
And that's your opinion. You're welcome to it.
It's dog shit, dude. It's dog shit. I do. I think people are going to be absolutely amazed by hearing what you say. I think people are going to be absolutely amazed.
No, I encourage them. I've been recording it too, and I'm happy. I'm happy to let anybody hear what I have to say.
That you're for a dungeon system, that you're for a prison system, that you're for a death state, prison state. You think people should go? You're voting for a new jail. New jail means more people go to prison.
So let me think. All right. So let's use your analogy. Let's go back to Bill that beats the shit out of his wife or his girlfriend.
Right.
So what should happen in your utopian world? What should happen to Bill?
Utopian world? You mean the world that is available now?
Don't parse what I've said. Just answer the question.
What happens? What should have the dungeon system?
What should happen to Bill? Okay. So how do you help Bill?
Well, you first find out if it's a regular beating, if he's beating his wife all the time. You don't take him to a dungeon and put him in a cage and torture him and look up his butthole.
Wait a minute. I think people are going to love hearing that. You're saying
first we
find out if it's a regular beating, if he beats him all the time. So you're saying if it's a one-time thing. If he beat the shit out of his wife one time. No. Hang on. If it's a regular thing, so you're saying if Bill one time beat the shit out of his wife, one time, then okay, it's okay. It was just a one-time thing. Is that what you're telling me?
No, it's not what I said at all. You didn't let me finish.
You just said a regular beating. You said first you find out if it's a regular beating.
His wife regularly, or if this is something that happened because of all kinds of things. Could have been a car accident, his head, a PTSD. He could be going through some things. We need to find out what's going on with that couple. If this man beat his previous girlfriend, if he beat his previous wife, if he abuses women, if that's what he does.
So that's what he is, and we need to fix him. You're telling me you don't think that spousal abuse situations that there's not any type of investigation done? You think that the minute the man hits the woman in the face, That's it, and that's the end of it. You don't think that they look back at past records, past incidents, past situations? They absolutely do. I can tell you that for sure, just from the people that I worked with that were incarcerated for drug crimes. So I'm here to tell you that your perception of all this is yours. Listen, Chille, it's yours. You are welcome to it. That's one of the beautiful things about living in this country. But when you try to perpetuate those fallacies into a greater society, that's dangerous. So you're saying, yeah, you're saying. So you're saying.
We shouldn't count.
I want to make this clear. Since you're recording it,
we should put them in
recording it. Wait, since you're recording it and I'm
yes,
recording
I record
it,
everything. Everything.
I understand. No shit. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how obtuse you think I am. That was the whole reason I wanted to meet in person, so that we could each be recording the situation. But that's okay. I'm recording it too. So here's the bottom line.
You lectured me the entire time, and then you said that you're for a dungeon. You're for a new jail.
Oh wait,
for more people.
So those are the words. I am for a dungeon. I use those words. Is that
you're
is that
for
what
a dungeon, dude?
Is that what
said you want a new jail in Lawrence County?
I absolutely do. Or I got to tell you what, we have a Lawrence County jail. Okay, we're not getting rid of a Lawrence County jail. What I want to see is a newer, safer, more modern prison jail being built in Lawrence County. Lawrence County
modern. What does modern mean, Chris? What is modern?
Anything that wasn't built in 1960, I guess. I don't know when the building was built.
Modern means what? Modern means.
I just told you anything that wasn't built in 1960 or whenever the jail was built. But wait, you've sidestepped and you've glossed over this whole thing. First, we get down to whether or not this is a regular beating. So what you're saying to spousal abuse victims is, if it only happened to you once, then we need to find out why. And that's okay that you have to have your jaw wired shut or facial reconstruction because your husband beat the shit out of you just once. Is that what you're saying? Because that's what you said. That's exactly what you said.
Whatever you think you need to put in my mouth to justify domestic violence.
It came right out of your mouth.
The way we end domestic violence, Chris, is by helping the man understand why he beats women. That's how we get over it. We see what the fuck is wrong with that guy. What brought him to hit a woman? Why would you hit a woman?
You're not going to get any argument from me on that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But where does that happen? So where does that happen? In the comfort of your living room, his living room, my living room? Where does that happen?
No, it should happen in a portable, decentralized, transparency peace officing force, not a dungeon system where they shove you in the back of the car.
Wait,
yeah, you haven't seen the video? I laid out a whole new system.
No, I don't watch your videos. I've already told you.
You should watch a new system.
I've given you an hour of my time that I would never spend time watching any of your videos. Listen, here's the bottom line.
Why would you spend no time watching my videos? My ideas aren't relevant because you don't agree with me?
No, because I've got a ton of other things to do.
To work on the same system, status quo, same bullshit system.
Okay, so again, because I'm obtuse. You know, we've established that, right? Isn't that what
you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Do I know what obtuse means?
I'm just saying,
it means rounded. It means rounded and dulled. I know exactly what it means.
It does not mean rounded and dulled.
It does
not. It does not. It is not. This is not a geometry word. It's a word based on lacking empathy, especially in an authoritarian way for others.
Okay.
That's what obtuse means.
Yeah.
Look it up on the internet, dude.
You look it up too. So anyway, the bottom line is I want you to, because I'm obtuse, I want you to re-explain to me, because I went to public school and you got to talk real slow. I want you to re-explain to me where the abuser gets this treatment if it's not in a jail.
Where the abuser gets the treatment?
That's right. In a transparent mobile what?
Okay, so I've laid out a new system called transparency. And transparency officers have a camera on their head that shoots in 360. We don't carry guns anymore. You wear regular clothes. You just wear a total headset so that everybody knows that as soon as transparency comes in, everybody's on camera. Everybody's on camera. And what that means is then we'll get to see the people who are for law and order, who want to calm down and change the way they're being.
You haven't answered my question. You haven't answered my question. Where does
the people?
I don't finish? I'll be honest with you. I don't care to hear your plan. I don't care to hear your plan. I really don't. I want you to answer my question. Where does Bill go? When Bill breaks Susan's jaw,
right?
Where does Bill go? Where does Bill
they get taken out to the double-decker bus. The bus pulls around because there's been a violent act done, and you go out to the double-decker bus. We may have to take him out. We may have to take him out in Velcro straps. Depends on if he's going to calm down or not. If he's going to calm down,
double-decker bus. Okay, but I don't care how he gets there. How he gets there.
Right. Then he goes through the double-decker bus, and now he can either go into the punch room if he's going crazy, or you sit down and talk to someone, and we figure out if you're beating your wife all the time, if you're an abuser, if you're a violent person, to find out if you're going to beat the next woman. We want to solve the problem, not just punish you for it.
Okay.
She gets justice by making him better. She doesn't get justice by throwing him in the dungeon and making him worse.
You're telling me that somebody that just beat the shit out of his wife isn't going to attempt to manipulate the counselors or the people that are there to establish whether or not he is to continue.
You also have her in the bus, and she's on the other side of it. She's talking.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I am so glad I'm recording this.
That's terrible. That's a terrible idea.
So glad. Yeah,
I've already broadcast this
I got to tell you.
It's already on the video. What I just said to you, Dunce Cap. It's already on the video. It's already on the video. I already made it. I already explained it.
Let me tell you why it's a horrible idea. Let me tell you why it's a horrible idea.
You know everything. You're a lecturer, so you tell me everything.
This much I do know. The reason it's a horrible idea. The reason it's a horrible idea is because you are suggesting putting into a vehicle, double-decker bus, call it what you want. You're suggesting putting into a vehicle the abuser who might still have blood on his knuckles and the abusee who is dealing with a broken jaw in the same vehicle. Have you lost your mind? Oh, better
you
than
were
that.
planted in a
How about
box.
this? How about that? How about this? How about this? How about this?
You're in a
How about
box.
the guys? How about the guys or gals, anybody that abuses children? Should we do the same thing? Should we take those people and put them in the same proximity as the abused children?
It'd be walled off, Chris. It'd be walled off. You wouldn't see each other.
Walled off? That doesn't matter.
Did you see what they did with the COVID buses? They made it so that they were completely segregated. You couldn't even see in the other section. It's funny. It's working out. Domestic violence is way down.
It's not funny.
No, Chris. Let me ask you a question.
It's sad. It's sad that you think. It's sad. It is sad that you think.
It's evolved into lunacy, dude.
It has.
We both can't talk at the same time. You're just an asshole, dude. You're
right. I am. You know what I'm an asshole for?
Though.
I'm an asshole.
I'm an asshole. Because domestic violence is way worse now. It's not better, it's worse. Domestic violence has never been worse. Did you know that?
Who has divulged?
Who has divulged? Who is at the highest point of domestic violence in our history right now? How's it going? How's it going? Your way. How's it going your way?
I am telling you right now. Okay,
how's it going your way?
You mentioned your mother.
How's it going your way, Chris? No, don't bring my mom in. I'm not bringing your mom in. I never mentioned my mother. Don't bring up my mom.
Yes, you actually did. Go back and listen to the video. Go back and listen to the audio. You'll hear.
I'm trying to ask you a question. Is it going good like this? Is domestic violence on its highest level of all time? Your way's not working. Status quo's not working.
Okay. I understand that that you are a quasi-anarchist. That's fine.
I'm not for anarchy. You are such a dunce cap. I preach rule of law. I teach the social contract.
Okay.
I teach rule of law. I'm not for anarchy at all.
The bottom line.
I have battles with other people.
Here is the bottom line.
No, dude, you didn't. No, don't say things about me.
I'm not going to listen to. I'm not listening to your.
I'm not for
anarchy.
TikTok lecture.
I don't need your TikTok lecture.
My TikTok lecture, Chris. I know far more about the black community than you do. You sound like a dunce cap. We're not even talking anymore. Now it's just stupidity.
Yeah.
This is stupidity.
No, what's stupid is for you to believe. Listen, what is
for
stupid
me to believe
is for you to believe. It is stupid for you to believe that the person that was abused would be in any proximity. I don't care if it's walled off. I don't care if it's a titanium wall. I don't care.
Leave the victim in the house. Take the victim to the hospital. Separate them if you have to. But don't put one in a dungeon and leave one alone. You talk to them both until they get it all out. Help people.
Oh, because they're going to be able to figure that out in about 30 minutes. I swear, you live in a.
It's not going to take 30 minutes. It's going to be an ongoing thing to help the people get better.
Also, the double-decker bus then lives outside the house.
The double-decker bus is a decentralized force for peace. I'd give a whole lecture on this. It's an hour long, dude, hour and a half long, about how we change the system. But you wouldn't even think about it. Let me ask you a question. Okay, let's stop screaming. Let's stop screaming at each other.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Is the system right now working for domestic violence? Is it working well?
Is it working well? No, I wouldn't say it's working well.
No.
But I will say this: it is working better than it was 30 years ago, and that's a proven fact. So, are there better mechanisms for offering counseling, getting people help when they need it? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Listen, you're entitled to your opinion, Chille. I understand in your world there are no prisons, there are no cops, there are just everybody sitting around the campfire, getting high, kumbaya, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's not the world we live in.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
That's not the world we live in.
You just make these things about me. They're just ridiculous, man.
No, don't you have something on your Facebook about 420? Smoke them if you got them.
Smoke some weed if you got some weed. If you want to smoke some weed. Yeah, 100%.
Okay,
what's wrong with that?
That's where that came from. I didn't just pull it out of my ass.
So you think people should go to a dungeon for marijuana then? You think people should go
Oh, my God. No, actually I don't. Okay? And I absolutely
you think marijuana should be legal?
No, I absolutely do not believe someone should go to prison for marijuana. No, I do not. There, I've said it for the record, for your record and mine. I've said it. Now, having said that, I want to get back to your whole domestic violence solution. Putting two people in any proximity, that's the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my life. It's like taking the scoutmaster that abused 12 scouts and sitting him in the same facility as those 12 scouts. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And and for someone that I believe is smart, okay, I'm going to state for the fourth time and for the record again, I believe that you're a smart guy. I believe that you are so blinded by your hatred of
hatred.
Yes, let me finish. I believe that you are so blinded by your hatred of the status quo. Do you hate the status quo?
It's garbage. It's not working.
No. Do you hate it?
It's hurting people.
Do you hate it?
You know who I hate the most? I hate people who are for status quo. That's what I hate more.
Okay. But you do hate it. So you are so blinded by your hatred for the status quo.
Blinded by hatred?
And you're blinded by the hatred of the status quo and those that support the status quo that you can't see the idiocy that you're suggesting. Idiocy. You think it's to put an abuser and an abusee in the same proximity. That's the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard any human being say.
What?
Yeah.
Dude,
You literally
repeat yourself again. Repeat yourself again. I'll listen to you again, then I can say what I say. I already heard you the first time. I don't have photograph memory. Pretty close. I already heard what you said. Now let me correct you because you misinterpreted what I said. I said put them in separate areas, but begin the counseling immediately because when people are emotional, they're going to start to gush about how they're feeling.
Separate areas like a double-decker bus.
Separate areas completely. You don't even take them to the same place at the same time.
No. You on your record and mine, you said put him in one section of the double-decker bus, walled off from her, who's in another section of the double-decker bus. Listen, man, you've got your own opinion. You're entitled to them, okay? I've got my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinions. I was hired to work for the city of Ironton to help improve things, and I'm going to do the best that I can do to make.
You were not hired. You were hired to make America better, to make the city better, to make the town better, dude. That's why you were hired. You were hired to.
I was hired by 998 people in Ironton to help make this city better.
Is that how many people voted for you? It was 998 people?
Yep.
Well, I mean, those are pretty good numbers compared to what I saw last time. When I looked up the numbers to win city council seat, it was pretty good. It was 998 votes. You must have been one of the top vote getters. I think that the top vote getter got like 1050 or something, if I'm mistaken.
Yep.
So that's pretty good, Chris.
Yep. So I was hired by people to help my city, not to harm my city.
And so trying to figure out a new way for domestic violence is going to harm your city.
If your new way suggests putting them in the same proximity, yes, that's going to harm the city.
I didn't say put them in the same room, Chris. You
said put them on the same double-decker bus. Go back to your report.
No, they don't have to go at the same time. They can go at 2 different times, especially if the woman has a broken jaw. Pivot. What are you talking about, dude? Pivot. What are you talking about? Do you want to hear my idea? Or do you just want to sit and just tell me what I think? Listen, do you want to hear what my thoughts are? I worked in a correctional situation where therapy was as much the solution as the locked doors and restricted movement. I see value in that. Okay, so you see value in locked doors and restricted movement. I see value in the therapy section. Okay, you want it all to be therapeutic. You separate the guy who beat the woman, and you immediately talk to the guy to find out if he is an abusive person, abused his previous girlfriend or wife, abused his current wife and how much he abuses her, if he hurts women regularly, if he sees women as less than men. You have to immediately begin to talk to the man so he doesn't continue to beat women for the rest of his life. But it's a terrible idea to separate them and have a talk with them. Instead of taking the guy to a dungeon, slamming him in the cuffs, the thugs beat him up, they take him to a dungeon, and then what happens? And they treat him like shit. They turn around, squat coughs. They look up his butthole. And it makes them feel...
The thugs beat him up?
Cops are thugs. Cops are absolutely thugs.
All right, I just wanted to be clear. You said...
Yeah, cops are garbage, Chris. Cops are garbage. You didn't know that?
All right. Well,
I mean, you said that a cop pointed a gun at you, a .38, because
that's exactly right. And you know what? Right. You know what that did not do? You know what that did not do? It did not make me hate all cops. Let me tell you what. I had a really, really bad meal about 4 days ago.
Okay.
I'm not going to go to that restaurant and tell them that every person that works in that restaurant is a piece of shit. I'm not going to say that every chef in that kitchen is a piece of shit. I'm not even going to say the chef that prepared my food is a piece of shit. I got a bad meal, which was a raw deal. It didn't work out, but it does not change the fact that my dining experience should not be forever altered because I had a bad meal. So because I had a .38 pointed at my chest because I did not look like the type of person that should be driving a luxury vehicle does not mean that I all of a sudden hate all cops. Sorry, I'm not wired that way. If you are, that's fine. You live in America. You're entitled to that.
Okay. So, Chris, you're saying I hate all cops, and you're pretty spot on. I think anybody who signs up that sees what cops do to people and then they abuse people like that, I would never sign up to that organization in its current regime. I would never sign up with the people who are in that system now. I would never sign up to put people in torture cuffs immediately upon my suspicion. I would never sign up to put people in torture cuffs and take them to a dungeon where they go to a rape cage. I would never agree to that. Why are you endorsing a prison state, death state, when you're black? You're black. Most of the people per capita who are put into a dungeon.
Oh my God, I love when non-black people tell me black stuff. This is the best thing ever. I love it.
Well, didn't you say you agree with change, but you don't agree with my message? That sounds like a white supremacist, just like them. Just like they said in the 1950s and 60s. I'm being honest with you, dude.
Oh my God.
Am I lying? Isn't that what white supremacists said? We agree that there should be change, but we don't agree with your message.
I don't know.
First 20 minutes I listened to this, you told me how I should just change my message.
I was a history and poli-sci minor. I was probably sleeping during that class, so I don't remember. But I'll take your word for it.
Really?
Word for it.
So then in 1954, did we desegregate? Did America desegregate in 1954?
In 1954, it's
going to be Brown versus Board of Education.
Yeah, Brown. I know what it is. Thurgood Marshall was successful in arguing Brown versus Board of Education, and it probably did take another decade before entire desegregation happened. But yeah, 1954 was an important date. But listen, I don't even know why we're going down the weeds. I told you, I called you, or I asked you to meet. You declined to meet, so we had a phone call. That's fine. I agreed to the phone call for one very specific reason: to clear the air on all of the shit that you put out in your video that you felt centered around you. It had nothing to do with you. And like I said, I'll go back to my beginning, and I'm going to say this one more time. I'm going to say it because you love this phrase. I'm going to say this one more time because you love this phrase. The team of people that I work with, my team, when anybody attempts to disparage someone on that team, especially the person that wrote the city charter.
Oh,
yes, I take exception to that. I absolutely take exception to that. And so when you attempt to belittle that person, go back and watch your video and whatever juvenile antics you were directing at who you thought was Bob but was really Mac. Yeah, that's where I draw the line. So the bottom line is, okay, we're gonna wrap this up because, like I said,
I want to tell you what I'm going to say. I'm going to retract what I said at the city council meeting, that I said that you changed the order because I was there to protest the raise in the tow fees, and I didn't know that you guys had previously already agreed to change the order of events because you had to leave early. I think that that's a fair thing to do. Anytime I'm wrong, I will always retract it publicly. Always. I will always tell the people the truth because they'll find out the lies. There's no lying anymore. The camera is everywhere now. Transparency is everywhere.
That remains to be seen.
We didn't start off with this being a conversation. You started off by telling me that your status quo, that you think a new jail would be good. How do you?
No, that's not where we started off. You brought the jail in at probably the 20-minute mark.
I listened for 17 minutes.
Okay, right, and I didn't say anything about a jail. Never once.
I asked you if you were for a new jail, and you said yes. You're for a new, better jail. Yeah. What's a better jail? What's a better dungeon?
Better than the one we have now that was built around 1960. I've answered that question 3 times. Okay,
so but again,
the bottom line is, I, as a voter, yes, I myself, as a registered voter in Lawrence County, I am going to vote to replace the current jail with a new jail in city limits. That's what I am going to do. If you don't support that, you're entitled.
I'm not a citizen of Lawrence County yet. I can't vote yet.
Well, okay, then hurry up and get to it. Hurry up and get to it. You've been here in and out of town for 2 months. You could have established residency and vote and gone to get your voter registration for Lawrence County.
How is March 25th to April 1st 2 months?
Whatever. Okay,
that's 1 month and 5 days from my account.
Oh my gosh. Okay, again, you got me. Ooh, thanks, Matt Wiz.
I'm not trying.
I don't
to
care. The point is, the bottom line is, if you're really interested in seeing the change happen, establish residency. Start there. In fact,
the change has already happened.
It occurs to me, sir. It occurs to me that you were not honest when you addressed City Council the other day because
what was I talking about?
Okay, you started, and it was brought to Council President's attention that you needed to identify yourself and your place of residence. You said your name, and you said, "I live in Ironton, Ohio." You don't live in Ironton, Ohio. Do you live in Ironton, Ohio?
Yes, I do live in Ironton, Ohio. I just moved here, dude. I just moved here. It's going to take me a little while to get my place lined up, get my license switched over. I moved to Ironton, Ohio, dude.
Okay.
I told the whole world if I don't do it, I'm
also, listen, just so you know, you're actually supposed to give your address. Every other person that addresses City Council lists their name and their address.
I can give you your address I'm staying at until my residency is completed, but I don't want to announce Eugene's address where I have my mail going. It's not right. I don't want to announce his address because people are stalking me, dude.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you know that or
just
not.
Because, okay, I've heard.
Guess who else got
no. And I want to say, listen, and I want to say this. If that's the case, which I don't doubt, if that's the case, that's wrong. I apologize that that's the case for you. I'm not in favor of anybody being stalked. That being said, I told you in the beginning that there were policies, processes, and procedures. There's protocol. Protocol is you list your name and your address, and you said your name and Ironton, Ohio. Just because you're staying in Ironton, Ohio. Okay, listen, I've got friends that live in Chicago. If I go stay with them for a few weeks, that doesn't mean I live in Chicago.
Dude, how is this about changing the system?
Oh, no.
I want to change the
pivot.
system. It doesn't matter which city, state, or town I live in.
Don't pivot.
Okay, you got me, Chris. You win. I don't officially have my residency in Ironton, Ohio yet. You got me,
and I'm suggesting that you do that.
You got me. And I also have a
suggesting
criminal record. If you count having a minor consuming at 18, if you count getting caught with a fake ID when I was 20, and shoplifting when I was 19. 3 charges on my record before I was 21. They're all misdemeanors, and I was under 21 years old. So I have a criminal record.
I don't even know where any of that came from. I don't know where any of that came from.
Right now, there's a big investigation on me because I want to change the status quo of the system. And this whole conversation has been about you being for a jail system and me being against it. And I'm trying to get you to see the light.
You personally have tried to make this all about a jail system. Okay,
it is about a jail system, dude. You got to
it is in your mind.
I'm on the phone with you.
Listen, it is in your mind about a jail system. It is not in my mind about a jail system.
In my mind,
I encouraged you to a conversation to clear the air, to clear things up,
and you lectured me,
and I was done
listened most of the time.
You're right.
I've listened to you most of the time. Did you listen to me for 17 minutes? Have you given
me?
Yeah,
I got that whole class. I mean, I'll send you a check for whatever I owe you for that TikTok class. Thank you.
And you keep on trying to insult me by saying it's a TikTok class, but the next generation, Generation Z, is going to change this country, bro.
Okay, great. Then
so you can make fun of TikTok all you want, but the TikTokers will change this world. You have no idea. You have no idea, dude. Hopefully they vote. Hopefully Gen Z votes. But that's what this conversation for me was about with you, was trying to get rid of a new jail, get rid of the jail system altogether.
Okay, so you had an ulterior motive. You got it out there. All of the people that have been listening, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm getting messages right now, so that's cool. That's
good.
Great.
I'm glad. I'm
happy.
I'm glad. I want everybody to know that you want a new jail. That's what I want most.
I'm going to state it one more time.
I'm
going to state it one more time. I'm going to state that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I, Christopher M. Perry, resident of Lawrence County, Ironton, Ohio, want to replace the old jail currently residing in Ironton, Ohio, with a new jail, a new Lawrence County jail. There, I've said it for every single person. There can't be any question there.
I don't think you're going to win I don't think you're going to win a city council seat again in 2 years or 4 years.
It's four more years. And
you have 4 full more years.
I'll be willing to bet you a steak dinner on that. If I decided to run for city council again, and if I did not win, it wouldn't be based on whether I want to keep it or get a new jail in Ironton.
Let me ask you a question. How come people would be texting you and telling you that nobody watches my videos? You don't watch any of my videos. Nobody's paying attention.
I never
how
would
people know?
No. Once again, there you go. I told you have a fantastic vehicle. I told you in the very beginning. I applauded you. I said, why don't you use your powers for good rather than evil?
I'm not using it for good. Getting Spiller's to resign was a terrible thing. He beat people constantly. He groomed several women.
Okay, but anyway, you just said to me.
So
I didn't say. Hey, are you proud of me? I didn't say that you came at me. I rephrased. I said you just said to me, nobody watches my videos. You don't watch my videos. You're right.
You didn't watch any of my videos. Huh? You said you didn't watch any of my videos.
You're right. I don't. But
you've never seen my videos, huh?
Just because I don't doesn't mean other people aren't.
Everybody's watching them. Everybody's watching. You know why? Because the agent of change has arrived and the people are getting on board. This bullshit system of putting people in a dungeon, putting them in torture cuffs has to end. I figured that you, being a black man, would have some semblance of reality. It's not working. And then domestic violence, Chris, it's the worst it's ever been. Since we ever took statistics, it's the worst it's ever been. But for some reason, you still think the domestic violence protocols are working. Arrest the man, put him in a dungeon, say he beat his wife, and then what happens? He's worse. She's worse. He gets out, he beats another woman. We didn't fix him. We made him worse.
Hey, I just want to give you a quick heads up. Again, because I don't really know how any of this YouTube stuff works and broadcasting and all that other good stuff. And that's great. That's fine. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything to hide.
Okay.
I don't think your message is being received by citizens of Lawrence County quite the way you think. Because
really?
I've just received 2 more messages, and I'm sure I'm going to receive a dozen more.
You'll get dozens, Chris. It'll be overwhelming how many people contact you. It'll be overwhelming. It'll be unreal how many people contact you.
That'd be great.
You know why?
Just like I heard people come. You know what? You and your buddy had a really good question, and I applaud you for that as well. Asking why there aren't more people that come to city council. I invite people to city council every week.
You do?
Oh, I do. Absolutely, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the 2 weeks before, when we had everything going on about where the new jail was going to be, I invited 2 or 3 of the people that spoke to city council on that. Yes, I do. I want people to be at city council as often as possible. Absolutely, I do.
Do you know why people don't go? You know what I was told by dozens and dozens of people? Because it doesn't matter if they go or not. You guys are going to do whatever you want for the big money in the town, and you're not going to serve the people.
Sure.
And just to be clear,
I'm sure that's how some people feel. Okay, I'm sure that's how some people feel.
I did retract.
But I can tell you statistically why most people don't come. It's apathy, the same as voter apathy, and that makes me sad because I absolutely believe in what our country stands for is in the strength of the people. And if people don't turn out, if people don't show up, if people aren't inquisitive, if people don't want to get to the bottom of it, then no, things aren't going to change. So that's where it is. It's the majority of it is apathy.
But Chris, you have to be for the people first and not for the other team members on the city council. You have to be for America, for the Constitution and Bill of Rights, not just for the other people on the city council. I don't give a damn who wrote the city ordinances. If they're repugnant to the Constitution, Marbury versus Madison, they should be deleted. But yet you keep on impounding people's cars. I keep on telling you guys, eventually we're going to get to a class action lawsuit. It's going to come sooner or later. It will come. Eventually people will come.
Possibly.
It's not funny. It's not. See, the thing is guys like you who laugh in a conversation where I'm very serious, I just think it's ridiculous. This is not a joke. I'm not kidding.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, and there's lots and lots of people who are relying on you. And your idea is that the status quo is good. Build another dungeon. Make it more high tech. Make it more so that the cops feel safer and the people are treated worse. And that's what you're voting for. A new jail's a bad idea. We need to phase out jail. Figure out ways to help people, not hurt people. But you don't want that. You don't want that. And that's the sad part. I've done nothing but try to reach you. And about an hour into this conversation, I realized I'm not going to reach this guy. He's just like the rest. You're where you are, Chris, and everything's great for you. And you can't look the people in Ironton in the eye because you know as well as I do.
Are you kidding me? I can't look people in the eye.
You can't. You can't. You're not going to walk down the street and look people in the eye when you say you voted for a new jail. Nobody wants it who's being punished by it, who's being tortured by it.
Okay. Nobody. You're saying nobody?
Dude, if you're part of the people who don't get punished, if you're part of the people who don't get pulled over, get stalked by the cops, then you're all for a new jail. But if you're one of those people who get stalked by the cops and you go to the dungeon, you're not for a new jail. It's just that simple, dude. The haves versus the have-nots. But I used my powers for bad after I got spooged to resign. It's been a ridiculous conversation. That's the reason I started a live stream. It's been ridiculous.
It has been a ridiculous conversation, and I am
listening to you at first to try to show you some sort of amicable.
And I am glad you live streamed because I'm.
I'll put the rest of the conversation online after this.
I
want everybody to hear that you said you pledge allegiance to your other city council members. I want everybody to hear that. I think it's pathetic.
I pledge allegiance.
That's what you said.
That's good stuff. That's really good
I have the audio. You said that your allegiance first and foremost is the other city council members. That's what you said. Something almost word for word what you said.
Yeah.
And it's not. And I said your allegiance is to the American people, to the Constitution, and you have an oath for office on record.
I do. I sure do.
Then your allegiance is not to those other city council members. Your allegiance is to the people.
Listen, you can try if you want. You're going to try in vain, but you can try if you want to twist this however you want. I told you.
I'm going to release the whole audio, Chris. I'm not going to hide anything.
I've done it myself. I'm glad.
Dude, I am.
All of the social media platforms that you've got, do it. All I've got is Facebook, and I'm going to do it too. I'm happy to.
Put it out, dude.
Put it out. Hour and 38 minutes. The hour and 38 minutes.
You know what, Chris? It should be 6 hours. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who wrote the social contract.
Oh my God! Here we go again. Is this another check I've got to write you? Is this another check I've got to write you for another class?
I'm just talking about the facts that I know.
Listen.
I'm just trying to show you what I know.
If I wanted,
we could sit around and talk about democracy.
If I wanted a TED Talk,
a TED Talk. I listened to you for 17 minutes without interruption.
Hey,
now you can't even like 3 sentences.
Hey, if I wanted a TED Talk, I'd go find one.
What are you talking about, dude? This isn't a TED Talk. I'm just trying to communicate with you. And every time I've tried to communicate with you, you have put up a wall and said,
you're not trying to communicate with me. You're not trying to communicate with me. You're trying to communicate at me. You're trying to convince me that what I believe is wrong, what you believe is right, and that's not going to change.
Jails don't work. If they worked, we wouldn't have 2.5 million people in them. We have more than China by 1 million, by 900,000. And they have 2.2 billion people.
Has it ever, again, speaking to a very intelligent person that I believe you are, has it ever occurred to you that the raw numbers that you're looking at have been adjusted by the fact that our greater population is higher? I mean,
our greater population is higher than China?
So you're saying per capita. I just want to make sure. Are you saying per capita we've got more people in prison now than we've ever had before? Per capita?
We have more people.
No. I'm asking you per capita. Because we have more Americans now than we've ever had before. So if we have more Americans, it stands to reason we've got more prisoners. If we have more Americans, it stands to reason. Listen, if we have more Americans,
people will be taken to jail this year. 7 million
per capita. Answer my question, Chille. Per capita.
I don't know.
You want to talk about black folks, white folks, Mexican folks? What are you going to talk about here?
I'm talking about Americans.
I'm
talking about Americans, Chille.
Numbers.
Chille. We have more Americans today than we've ever had before. Is that a factual statement? Yes or no?
Dude, we have
Just yes or no?
million. Dude.
Just answer the question.
You bet, counselor.
Okay. So don't skate, don't pivot. If we've got more Americans, listen, if we've got more Americans, it stands to reason we have more cars. Hell's bells. If we've got more Americans, we've got more baseballs. Do you not get that?
So
if we've got more people living in America, then we probably have more people in prison. Raw numbers. Raw numbers per capita. Are you telling me per capita? And I don't know this. You could be accurate. Tell me this per capita. Tell me this per capita. Per capita, do we have more people per capita in prison today than we've ever had at any point in our history?
We've had more people in prison now. Yes, we have more people in prison today. More people are going to jail than ever.
No, not more. More per capita. You know what per capita means?
It's the highest number in the history of our country. The only reason it dropped
per capita. I'm asking you per capita. Answer that question.
Listen, statistics, you can make them twist any way you want.
You're right, you can. But what you can't twist is raw numbers. Raw numbers is there are more Americans living today than ever before.
Per capita, one out of
just
three
answer that question. Just yes or no.
1 out of 3 black men will be taken to a dungeon, have to show his butthole to a total stranger.
I mean,
I'm telling you, it's
like
the highest number of all time.
Every 30. I love the African American studies.
I
love the African American studies class that you're giving. It is the best ever. I swear, it is my favorite part of this whole team. Every 30 minutes. Listen, just answer my question. Are there more Americans now than there ever have been? Just yes or no.
There's more people in prison.
Oh, no. Just more Americans.
What are you doing, dude?
Don't answer the question with a question.
This isn't talking about the real issues. This is you splitting hairs.
No.
Now
all of a sudden, I'm splitting hairs. This is great.
You have been the whole time, dude.
No. Just answer the question.
You have been the whole time.
Mr. DeCastro, I'm asking you. Answer the question. Are there more Americans today now than ever before? Yes or no?
Yes. And there's more people in prison than ever before per capita. Yes. Right now.
Okay.
It's the
per
worst
capita.
time
You're telling me per capita.
Yes.
Okay. And if you're telling me that's true, I'm going to research it.
Listen, there's going to be someone who's going to correct me and say I'm wrong, and I'm more than willing to be wrong, Chris. I'm more than willing to be wrong. But what I'm
going to research it, and what I'm trying to tell you is, if you're right,
me, dude. If I'm wrong,
if you're right, I'm saying to you, if you're right, if there are more people per capita in prison today than ever before, I will be glad to make that statement. In fact, I'm making it right now because you're live streaming it. I'm recording it. It's there. So if I am wrong, I will be glad to admit that I'm wrong. But that has nothing
What does it matter?
Listen,
Chris, what does it matter?
You're right. What does it matter? Because that has nothing to do with
what matters is that in Ironton, Ohio right now, someone's going to be pulled over and they're going to be taken to a dungeon where they'll be strip searched. Their car will be impounded. They won't be able to pay the fees. They'll lose their kid. They'll lose their car. They'll lose their job. The status quo sucks, and you're for it. And that's the whole thing we have a problem with each other about. You are for the status quo.
No.
You don't care if someone loses their car.
That might be your problem. Let me tell you what. That might be your problem. No, it's not mine. It is. That is absolutely your problem. You've made it clear that is your problem. But I have to tell you, okay, and I'm going to wrap this whole thing up because I do have things I've got to do.
Oh, I'm sure you're going to put a bow on it, and you can hang up, buddy.
Yeah. There's literally nothing that you can do that's going to frighten me, intimidate me.
I'm not trying to frighten you.
Okay, no, just let me finish. I reached out to you.
I'm not trying to scare you, dude.
Listen,
what the hell are you talking about? I haven't threatened you.
There's nothing that you can do that is going to make me feel uneasy, looking over my shoulder, worrying about my
I would never want you to feel
worrying about my political future. That's where you went down this. Listen,
I'm going to try to get you voted
listen,
out.
I did not get elected to city council to make a career of this. I got to tell you, $700 a month. That's not a winning factor when it comes to making a decision. I got my interest in working on city council was to help make things better in Ironton. And I have to tell you, as a person who's
the new jail's going to do that. The new jail's going to make everything better.
As a person that's battling cancer,
I am not afraid of anything that you
I'm
think
sorry,
you can
dude.
bring.
I didn't know you're battling cancer. I'm
That's,
sorry. To hear
that's
that.
okay. Of course you didn't. It wasn't your place to know. But my
No,
point
really,
is,
my-
okay, I got it, Chille. I got it.
Sorry,
Sorry, thank you. I got it. But my point is, there's nothing that you can do that's going to frighten me, intimidate me, make me feel nervous.
Those are the wrong
Look over
words,
my
Chris.
shoulder.
I'm not interested in frightening you, man. I would not interested. I'm interested in getting you out of city council if you believe we need a new jail. I don't want a citizen on the city council who thinks we need a new jail and that's going to help people. It's going to make our society work.
Then once again.
But that's not trying to intimidate
Established
you or
residency.
threaten you.
Established
Dude,
residency.
I don't want anything bad to happen to you, man.
Listen, my point is there are bigger things going on in my world and in everybody's world than having an argument, an almost 2-hour argument with you.
There's nothing bigger going on than talking about the state of the affairs in America and trying to fix it. There's nothing bigger going on.
I guess that's a matter of opinion.
If you need to do your cancer therapy, if you need to get your stuff done for your health, I understand that, man. I mean, my grandpa died of cancer, so I understand. Okay. My grandma died of cancer at 61. I understand, man.
Listen, the point is there's nothing that you're going to say that's going to change my opinion on whether or not Ironton should replace the old jail in Ironton, Ohio, with a new jail.
Do you know what would change your opinion? Do you know what would?
Okay.
If you took the trip to the dungeon, you had to bend over, squat, and cough. If you got treated like you couldn't look people in the eye and you had to look down at the ground, if you got fed dog shit food, if you had a gun pointed at you at 3 o'clock in the morning for a count, if you had to if you had to give dominion of your body to another person to roll your fingers across plastic, if you got tased, then it would change your opinion. It only has to happen once. I would love to just have you go through the process, just so you can experience it, so you realize jail is hell. It's literally hell on earth. And you endorsed it. And you're black. It's amazing to me.
What's amazing to me is that you can, what is amazing to me, my black brethren, how about the fact that we're all Americans and all humans?
That's not how it works in our country. Our laws are created based on racism.
Hey, Mr.
That's how it's worked.
Mr. Enlightened.
I am enlightened, brother.
Okay,
for sure.
If you're so enlightened, why do you keep perpetuating this race thing and thinking that it's going to make?
Because we have racist laws. The laws that oppress our people today are
there's no question. Hey, there's no question about that. But we also have misogynistic laws.
for men,
we also have sexual orientation
women hating laws. Bullshit, dude. It's 10 to 1 men in prison compared to women. What are you talking about?
We have laws.
Most of the people killed by police are men. What are you talking about?
You're telling me that we don't have laws on our books that are misogynistic? You're telling me that
we have the opposite. We have laws to protect women.
Oh my God!
Tell me
I tell you what. Listen. I tell you what. Of all of your followers,
educate me, brother.
I'm about to. Of all of the things that you've said, of all the people that follow you, I hope to God most are men, or you're going to find yourself fewer and fewer and fewer followers, because you in one conversation said, put the abusee in a vehicle with the abuser, and now you're saying that there are not laws that are misogynistic.
What are they? Tell me what they are, so I know. Educate me.
Let's see. What's going on? What's going on? You're asking me to educate you. What's going on in Texas and Florida right now?
Tell me.
You're not telling me that those are not misogynistic laws? Tell
me what they are, dude. Don't play patty cake. Just tell me. Educate me.
Women's reproductive rights. Women's reproductive rights. Okay? Whether you agree with abortion or not, there are laws that are misogynistic in nature, and you don't even see it. Listen, here's the bottom.
Oh no! What are you talking about? I actually broke down the case law and the statute of.
Okay, but you just said there are no laws that are misogynistic. You literally just said.
I didn't say there's no laws. I said most of the laws.
You did. You literally just did. You said just the opposite. There are none.
You got me.
Started to go down some damn rabbit hole about the number of men in prison versus women.
You're talking about pro-choice and abortion.
Hey,
I don't think men should be making laws.
You just asked me.
I agree with
you. Asked me if there were laws.
I agree with you, dude.
You asked me if there were laws
that were misogynistic or not, and I told you one that is. You said that there weren't. It was just the opposite.
Listen, Chris, we actually agree. I think that women should make laws about abortion and not men. I think it should be women.
Okay, you know what? Look at that. Look at that.
We agree.
Look at
We
that.
agree.
Hey, all
We
right.
agree.
God bless America. That's
But
great.
my difference of pro-choice and your difference of pro-choice is that we should be spending money on facilities and programs so that if a woman doesn't have any money, that we take care of her and keep that baby. Instead of just going, oh, don't you have an abortion, you horrible person, and then no one does anything to help her. We don't have any great programs set up for women who are facing whether having an abortion or living on the street. And we don't have those programs.
Again, I'm not interested in having a socio-political.
You should be. You're on city council.
I'm not interested in having that with you right now. I've got other things I've got to do. You asked a question.
We've been talking for 2 hours. What do you mean you're not interested? You change your mind halfway through, or is it the live stream you're afraid of? Are you afraid of people hearing your ideas?
Am I afraid of the live stream? You've been doing it for an hour. I've been receiving messages on it. I'm not afraid of the live stream. People
Chris,
can talk to me anytime they
started halfway through our conversation when you and I could.
That was an hour ago. That's what I just said.
Are we 2 hours in? Are we 2 hours in?
Yeah.
We're hour and 50 minutes. So we're 50 minutes of the live stream.
Hour and 51 minutes. Yeah. That's
Chris,
halfway.
Listen, I just wanted the people to see that you are for the status quo.
The dungeons. Chris is for the dungeons. Oh, my God.
You're for dungeons. You've never had your asshole looked up. You've never had to turn around, squat, and cough. You've never been put in torture cuffs. So you have no idea what it's like.
Yeah.
You have no perspective, and you're black, which is even worse. I'm glad you didn't get treated that way.
I'm so glad every 15 minutes you keep reminding me that I'm black.
Well, because it's like you forgot.
I almost forget.
Like
I almost forget. I almost
forgot you're black.
Thank God.
One time the cop pointed the gun at you, you just forgot what that was like to be a black man.
No, I didn't.
Let me just tell you something.
Absolutely
I'll
not.
tell the white people watching too. Being black in America is freaking hell. Especially if you have
Is that based on your personal experience? Hey, is that based on your personal experience?
What are you talking about? I've traveled.
Being black. Wait, no. I'm just asking. Answer the question. Just answer the question. Is being black in America based on your personal experience?
Yes, it's based on my personal experience.
Your personal experience of being black.
How much time you spent in South Central, dog? How much time?
Dog.
How much time? How much time?
Hey, dog. Oh my God. How much time have you spent being black? How much time have you spent being black?
When I was in jail, I worked out with a black guy. I almost got killed by the brown guy.
Oh my gosh. You have a black friend? Oh my gosh.
My best
my
friend
favorite.
was black. And I worked out with a black guy in jail. I was almost murdered, dude. They put me in a circle and said, you're working out with the N'ers. If you ever work out with an N'er again, we will kill you.
Okay.
For working out with a black man in jail.
Wow, that's I got to tell you.
Have you experienced that? You ever experienced that, Chris?
Have I ever experienced what?
Yeah, going to jail and working out with someone who's not black and then being threatened to be killed. Do you know what it's like?
Have you ever experienced being black? Hey, have you ever?
Have you ever had to?
Have you ever experienced being black? Yes or no?
You said you grew up in the project.
Have you ever?
Did you have to join a gang or not?
Have you ever experienced being black? Yes or no?
I had to join a gang, and that's very racial. So yes, at some level. Not being
yes,
black
in some level.
but yes, I've experienced racism.
Yes, in some level.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think my name is Chille? How come people? Why do you think I chose that nickname? Or do you think that the white kids where I'm from in Alaska called me Chille Taco? What do you think happened?
Who knows?
Chille Taco Burrito Enchilada. I'm still called Chilipa. I'm still called decastrated. I'm still called all kinds of racial slurs.
Okay.
Spiclito. I was called Spiclito. Do you know that? And that's why racism
No, I didn't.
So hurt.
I didn't. And that's
I've
bad.
experienced racism from people who love me to this day. But you don't know anything about it. You've never been to jail, dude. You've never had to turn around, squat, and cough, and you still vote for a jail because you've never experienced it, dude. You are the problem in our culture, and I wanted everybody to see it. I wanted to expose you, and I did. Because after a while,
you didn't.
I was so disappointed.
Okay, here you go.
So disappointing talking to a black guy for a jail.
Hey, Mr. DeCastro, actually what you did was expose your own self once again because
it's about me, right? It's
because
about
I have
about
actually
you being
been
power.
to
It's
jail.
about me.
Because I have actually been to jail.
Oh, you have?
Oh,
you said you haven't.
No, I
didn't.
Said you haven't.
Did you change your tune? When did you get arrested?
It was 1994. Valentine's Day, 1994, maybe 1995.
And you got put in torture cuffs?
Nope, did not.
You didn't get put in torture cuffs. How'd you get away with that?
I had a separated shoulder.
Dude, and the cops had mercy on you? You told them, don't hurt me, my shoulder's hurt, and they didn't do it?
Nope. They asked me, do you have any reason we couldn't put you in handcuffs behind your back? I said, I've got a separated shoulder. They said, okay. Put me in the paddy wagon. Put me in the paddy wagon. Spent the night in jail. That sure did.
Did you get strip searched?
Yeah, I think I did.
You had to show your butthole.
I don't know about that. No,
Turn around,
I think they just took me down. I think they just took me down to my skivvies.
How'd you get this treatment, dude? How'd you get this treatment being a black guy from the projects? How'd that happen?
Lucky
I've never heard of the cops saying we're not going to put your hands behind your back. I've never heard of it. I had to absolutely insist that I would not have my arms behind my back. It's the first time I've ever been arrested that my arms were behind my back. Because
once again,
Brad
let's get back to
it. I got a man crush on because he's such a likable guy. He didn't force my arms behind my back.
Listen, let's get back to it. So once again, you've exposed yourself because you wanted to show that I'm status quo and I'm for jails and prison and this and that and the other because I've never experienced it. Yeah.
Well, what happens when there's transparency is we can have a better conversation when everybody hears it and you know everybody's listening. And other people will text you and say, hey, he's live streaming that. At least then we'll have a cordial conversation because we weren't having one until you knew it was live streaming and the conversation was much more cordial.
I was done with you at about the 25-minute mark. I didn't get any messages on this. Until
you were done with me. What does that mean exactly? Huh? What does that mean? You were done with me. What does that mean?
I was done having the conversation with you at about the 25-minute mark. I cleared the air.
I listened for 17 minutes. So 5 minutes into me talking,
and it was about 8 or 10 minutes after that I was done. I said everything that I needed to say, and then you went down this whole dungeon. Hole. Okay? I didn't know anything about you live streaming until 3:57. But we were well into the conversation.
And you wouldn't let me talk. And as soon as you found out we were live streaming, now I can actually talk back. Before that, you just talked over me the whole time.
I gave you my
20 minute
monologue.
I'll release the whole call, dude.
That's me too. That's great. I literally have nothing to hide. I don't care.
I know you don't care. I know it. I know you don't.
If anybody hears it.
I know you don't care.
I don't listen. I don't get paid on this. You do. So you've got all the incentive in the world.
I'm not going to make $700 on this one video, dude. I'm not going to make $700. I'm not getting more popular because I had a conversation with you on live stream. I get popular if I take down a cop, like Jonathan Spuljarek, unlike his brother who's not a pedophile. But when I took down Jonathan Spuljarek, I became very popular.
Okay.
Brad's not a pedophile. His brother John is.
Okay.
That's where people like me and pay attention to me. But you're for a dungeon. I just want to be clear to people. He's for a dungeon. He wants a dungeon system. He's never been arrested for torture cuffs.
I've been arrested. We've already established this.
Yeah, but you didn't get put in torture cuffs behind your back and tortured. You didn't have to turn around and show your butthole.
Well, probably because they didn't feel threatened by me. I complied.
I'd like to see it, by the way. I'm trying to find, just so you know, I'm trying to find a copy of my actual criminal record. I can't get one. I would love to get my actual criminal record.
Look it up. Franklin County.
Franklin County and Chris Perry. What year was it? Valentine's Day. What day?
I would say 94, 95. I can't remember which year it was.
94 or 95. Chris Perry, Franklin County. What's your middle initial, sir?
M. Christopher M. It's all public record.
Your date of birth would be?
Well, I'm not going to get down that.
Why? My name's Jose Maria DeCastro, born 9/11/74.
Good for you. For the same reason.
I'm not afraid.
I'm not going to give my social security number.
I don't. Well, they made me give mine at the jail. Do you think that's legal?
I don't know. Is it?
It's not legal. It's illegal. That's why I'm suing them.
Okay. Well, good for you. That's great. Here's the bottom line. I contacted you to clear the air.
You didn't, dude. You called me to lecture me.
You're right. Actually, I did. That's exactly what I did.
You told me.
I wanted to have a face-to-face. I wanted to have a face-to-face, but you declined. And so I agreed to a phone call. You're right. To set the record straight on, and as you claim you're going to, I guess you've already recanted, just in lieu of the fact that this is going on live stream, you're recording it, I'm recording it, so that's good enough. The bottom line.
I retracted what I said. You did not change the order at the city council for me. You'd already planned on changing it, and I was incorrect in my assessment. I already admitted I was wrong. I've admitted I was wrong every time I'm wrong. I say I'm sorry when I'm wrong, dude, because that's the right thing to do. But you, my friend, don't understand.
There's a second time we agree with something.
Yeah. You apologize when you're wrong?
Yep. Admit that you're wrong when you're wrong. That's right.
So what do we accomplish here today, Chris? That you told me I think you think I should change my ways. I have a list actually that I kept right here. That my approach is wrong, and I'll get more done if I don't use the approach I'm using, because so much has changed by the other approaches, right? So many people with a camera have changed things. So many people have gotten cops to resign. So many people have changed the system by being just nice and staying within the boundaries. It's worked out so well, right? And then we talked about black people and how the only way it got changed is when people went ballistic with protesting.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. You're black. You don't know black history?
My God, I love this.
Do you know what a sit-in is? Do you know what freedom riders are?
It is my favorite thing when non-black people remind me that I'm black. God.
You forgot, bro. You forgot. Your brethren, 1 out of 3 of your brethren.
My brethren. You know who my brethren are?
It's your race, dude. Or your race in council members.
Nope. Check it out. My race is the human race. My brethren is anybody that has red blood in their veins. Okay. You want to separate things?
That's not how it works, dude.
Oh, that's not how it works. Hey, you know what? That's not how it works.
Target black people when it's not an all-white society. If there's black people, they get targeted.
Listen, I don't have any question. I'm not disputing the fact that black folks get targeted. But what?
And the new jail means more black folks can go in it. More poor white people.
Hey, there's a third. Listen, there's a third thing. Listen, hey, there's a third thing that we agree upon. You personally, you yourself, you're wrapped up in this whole race thing as if race is the end all and be all to it all.
Our laws are racist. The laws we live under. Terry versus Ohio.
This is where you're wrong. You ready to get educated? Are you ready for me to educate you?
I'll be quiet.
You ready for me to educate you? Our laws are classist. That's what our laws are.
You're incorrect.
Oh, no, I'm absolutely not correct. Absolutely,
You're incorrect.
No, our laws, let me tell you what. Anybody that's in power, do you think they have any more use for a poor white person than they have for a black person?
No, they don't.
That's a classist. That is a classist.
Okay,
problem.
Can I tell you why the change is happening? Because the laws created for blacks in the 50s and 60s are now being applied to whites. And that's why half the country, 52%, no longer trust police, or 48% do. Finally, the white people are being affected. Sadly, it's only the poor white people.
You're right.
The poor.
Poor white people.
They're affected the most because the people with money can afford a lawyer. But let me correct you one more time.
You have taken the bait.
I'm an expert on Terry versus Ohio. Terry versus Ohio was passed based on racism to stop the Black Panther movement. That's why it was created.
You have taken the bait on racism being the end-all and be-all to all.
No, everything is not racist. Our laws are racist.
Our laws are classist.
Terry versus Ohio was
black and brown people just happen to be included in the lower class.
That's dog shit. You don't know history. You're no case law expert. I am. I'm a case law expert. You're not.
You're a case law. What? Say what?
I'm a case law expert. Tell me why Terry versus Ohio in 1963. Why John Terry was arrested. I don't know the first thing about Terry versus Ohio. I know everything about it. Details.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Because you probably wrote it.
I studied it to the end of the limit. You have no idea. It was passed based on racism.
I am telling you right now, and you said it almost. You were almost there. You were almost ready to admit it. Poor white people are of no more use than minorities in this country. You almost admitted it. It's true.
They're being persecuted with black laws.
Then our problems are not just only racist. We
have racist laws. You get rid of the racist laws, we no longer have the laws on the book.
If we get rid of the classist laws,
okay, list the classist laws.
That takes care of the racist laws. See, that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Tell me about it.
See, I'm starting to question exactly the level of intelligence that I'm dealing with because you don't seem to understand. You don't seem to understand that if you take care of classism, racism is fixed. Byproduct of.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, actually.
You gave one man power of another man to detain him. That's based on racism, and now it's being passed down to white people, brown people, yellow people, pink people, tall people, short people, fat people. That's what's going on. Laws created based on race are now being applied to every race. And it's become an authoritarian back to blue stripe system. That's a standing army, and it's a gang. And you know it. If you don't know
classism. Once again, it's classism.
No, it's not. It's based on racism, dude. And it's being used on all people now. Why do you think the name of my channel is Delete Laws? Get rid of Terry versus Ohio. Get rid of it. Okay, can I say something? Let me just rattle. Pennsylvania versus Mims is an extension of Terry versus Ohio. Terry Mims was a black man.
You're giving me a headache.
Maryland versus Wilson.
I don't need. Not only do I not need.
1985.
Listen. Not only do I not need. I don't
Tennessee
want
Garner is
your
a black
lecture.
man.
I don't want your lecture over.
It is what it is, dude.
Political. I don't want your socio-political economic lecture. I don't want it.
Well, you don't know anything, dude. You just told me our laws are classist when I know they're based on race. Go to my website. It says the history of institutional racism defined on the timeline. And you don't even know what's happening to your own people.
10 websites
your own people.
Listen, just because it's your website doesn't make it rule. I'm sure I can find 10 websites to stand to buy.
Dude, my videos have been seen by 30 million people over the last 8 months.
Too bad.
30 million.
Not every one of them gave you $1. God, it's too bad not every one of them gave you $1.
You're not kidding, bro, because I would change the system with that money.
Oh, I know you would. Listen. I told you 15 minutes. I got to go. I'm 6 minutes past, but I'm way.
You've only been live for 45 minutes, dude. You haven't been live at all. You barely even been live, so we only.
I don't even care. I don't care. I have things to do. Listen, it's been great. Okay,
let's have an in-person debate.
You learned a little about me.
Let's have an in-person debate. I hope you're okay with the cancer, man. God bless you, dude. I hope you survive that. I hope you get past it.
I offered you an in-person. You declined.
I didn't decline an in-person. We just took a phone call.
No. I offered you an in-person, and you.
I'll have the in-person, Chris, but I don't think you're going to change any. I think you're for the status quo.
Okay, listen.
You're not willing to change, dude.
I learned a little bit about you. You learned a little bit about. But
you're not willing to change. Just admit that now. You want the system as it is. Just say it out loud so everybody knows.
Nope.
You want the system as it is.
I don't want the system as it is entirely. I absolutely do not. I think there's plenty of room for change. Getting rid of prisons. Okay, I'm not doing this. I've got to get rid of prisons. I told you. Getting rid of prisons is not the solution. There.
Why do we have more people in prison than every other country in the world by far? Per capita by far. Why are we the number one incarceration nation in the world? Why is that?
Look, I need to get off the phone so I can do the per capita research, because if you were correct, I'll make sure to let everybody know that you were correct. But I don't believe it. I believe that we have more people in prison today because we have more Americans than ever before. Maybe I'm wrong.
You are wrong.
Okay.
You are wrong.
All right.
It's not working out, Chris. It's not working out.
All right. Well, listen.
I'll be your adversary. I'll be against you when you run for city council if you run again. I definitely will be against you. I think the people of Ironton are going to have some words for you, dude. And believe me, only words.
I encourage every single person in Ironton to have a conversation with me.
Okay, Chris Perry, Ironton City Council member, just said he wants everybody to have a conversation with him. And please don't scream at him. Have a conversation. Don't treat him. Don't call. I actually snapped and called him an a-hole earlier. Sorry for calling you an a-hole, dude. I shouldn't have done it. I was upset. I lost my cool for a second. I'm sorry. I apologize for calling you names in the conversation.
It's all good. I shouldn't have called you an a-hole. I wanted to clear the air. I cleared the air. I made sure you understood where you were wrong. We've had plenty of other lively pieces of the conversation. I'm good with it. I stand behind everything I've said.
All right, brother. All right. Nice talking to you, man. Good luck.